Welcome back, everybody, to the League of Inches podcast. We are back for another week of Supercoach and Teamless Tuesday. We decided to sort of link both into the one video because you love myself and Jesse so much. So we'll be here. Sorry so far for the sort of slow week in a way in terms of podcasts and the YouTube stuff. Obviously, been away for a couple of days, back into it now. So back into normality in a way, and just a lot of catch up this afternoon, a lot of Supercoach, etc. Huge week of Supercoach as well. So, guys, if you are watching, make sure you hit that, click that link, that like, subscribe button. Always goes a hell of a long way to helping support our page and continue to help us grow. Same with the podcast stuff. Just click the bell icon, click the follow, the like as well to help us continue to grow. We are growing every day with both sides of things, so it's really, really cool to see. So again, just massive thank you to everyone, and all the social media links are below if you are watching on YouTube, and just give those a follow as well. Much appreciated. But getting straight into it, I tell you what, I thought it was a 2-week wonder, but apparently I'm a 3-week wonder at the moment. And this run of mine just continues to keep going, much to Jesse's pleasure. The champ is, I tell you what, I said I had him on the ropes last week. I've almost got him down for the 10 count early on, I think. So, but he's very, very dangerous in these situations. I said it last week and I'll say it again. When his back's against the wall, he loves this, talking about the trades, seeing what he can do, working his way out of trouble. And I am still very, very nervous, even though I'll probably hold about a 300-point lead, I think, at this stage. So, Jesse, I'll bring you in. Everyone's probably over my voice now.
No.
You're weak. I tell you what, it was carnage we thought the weekend was carnage with some of the scores. Mate, that was nothing. Give me that again. I would like to go back to that because the last 2 days have been nothing but carnage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been chaotic. I think everyone's pretty much been, in the loop of it today. Just injury after injury after injury, thinking, when is this going to stop? I was just hanging for team lists. I thought I'm not going to get committed to anything yet because we can't be too sure our players are even going to be out there come 4 o'clock. So, yeah, it wasn't a great team list for me as well. I think everyone's kind of feeling the sting. Even still, I think even my position overall, I think, what am I at the moment? 68,000. It's pretty shocking. I've climbed up from last time. I was 85, but yeah, I cracked 1,000 for the first times
Respectable.
this season. Yeah, so um, yeah, it's been
There's the
pretty.
win.
Yeah, it was not too many wins in the head-to-heads. I'm still doing a bit shocking in there, and draft is going well, but I'll take my draft victories. But yeah, no, it's not been a great start. And I just can't seem to plan for the next week at the moment, which is a bit of a problem. But I think everyone's in the same boat.
It was so good. I opened up the app yesterday morning, and it's just you won 8 from 8 competition head to heads. It was just such a good feeling. I don't think I've had that feeling before, so I just sort of just had this big smile on my face. And Jesse was like, "Don't even talk to me about it." But here I am. So, and it was
Someone
hard,
told
as
me.
you said, sort of today with all the injuries and the like. There was even like heaps of rumors and that coming out. I think everyone started to get on the bandwagon of it, wanted to be relevant. People were saying like Cotter's out, May was out. Like that's my starting front row. So I was starting to shit bricks, thinking any sort of plan I had in place for this. I'll let people in. My original plan yesterday morning, probably Sunday afternoon actually, Hines was gone. Hines was done. Moses was in, and that has since changed completely. I never thought I'd be getting rid of Cleary. That is looking more and more likely, but we will talk about that later on in the episode. Like the things that have been happening in the last 24 hours, I think every super coach has been. The thing is, I think every super coach has been affected in some way with one injury or the other. Like there's been that many. I think
Mm.
it's almost impossible for a super coach not to be impacted in some way. So, and you know what? There's probably someone out there that's almost got all these guys and just absolutely going, I'm done. I am done,
Delete,
especially off the
delete
back
app,
of last
gone.
week as well. So it
Yeah,
wasn't good. But you did mention last week our rankings and points and stuff. So I'll just go over last week's stuff. I got 1,084 points, which ended up sitting me with a total score of 3,031. So I'm in the 3,000 already. It's a nice feeling. And overall, that is 10,453rd. So I'm
been
almost
good.
in that 10,000 bracket range. And I've heard a lot of people say if you're around that 10 mark with the way things are going, you obviously know your super coach, and they're lying because I don't. So um,
Mate,
this is fluke.
nah. You know what? The amount of prep you've done for this season. Obviously, we both did it. But
Yeah.
no, honestly, you're flying, man. At the moment, it's been a shocker. Um, Nothing's kind of worked out, and if you committed to a few big guns and didn't make those early trades like your Tedesco move last week, that would have put you probably another 30,000 spots behind, considering how close everything is. So, no, it's been pretty good. I ended last round on 1,008. Um,
Hey.
so I got my 1,000 for the first time. It was actually a rescore up to over 1,000. So I was sweating on that one right before it happened. Puts me at season rank 68,066. So I went up 17,500 from last round. Overall scores 2,773. So a few hundred off, but not not too far away. I can still
Not
catch
too
you.
far. You're getting there. In terms of our trades, I think we might go through team list first and then talk about that, and then get into we've got
Oh yeah.
a League of Interest family member has sent through his team as well. So we'll dissect that, and then we'll just a bit of a yarn about that with our trades as well. So they're working. I've got a fair few questions once again for people's trades, and they want us to rank it, etc. So first up, Thursday game: the Sydney Roosters versus the Penrith Panthers at Allianz Stadium. I tell you what, there has not been a better time to knock off the Penrith Panthers and make a statement than this time for the Sydney Roosters. So basically, I'll just run through sort of the changes. I won't go through the whole 1 to 17 because I no doubt by now everyone's pretty familiar with each lineup, I feel like. So Sam Walker will play. There was a lot of talk about him with his HIA, but I think he has actually had it downgraded. He's passed his protocols, etc. So he will
Yep.
play with Luke Keary actually returning in that 5'8" position. I think that's lucky you as well because I'm pretty sure Sandon Smith has actually succumbed to an injury, so that's perfect
Yep.
timing for the Roosters there. Lindsay Collins, unfortunately, for his sake and the Roosters' sake, has succumbed to a hamstring injury. But for good news for super coaches because that means Terrell May will start, so we'll get a double stint of Terrell May madness, and I can't wait for that, especially when there was talk, I think, this morning that he was actually out. So to see that on the team sheet and see him starting, absolutely love that. Nat Butcher comes. Oh, sorry, not Nat Butcher. It's Egan Butcher
Yep. On the
comes onto
bench.
the bench. With Nat Butcher obviously starting already, and that is basically your 1 to 17.
Hmm.
Again, Michael Jennings is 18th man, so keep an eye on that one. The Silver Fox is back. For Penrith, obviously Nathan Cleary's massive out up to probably 4 weeks. We'll talk a bit more about Nathan Cleary, I think, afterwards when we talk about the trades and stuff, because I don't want to get too bogged down with the team list stuff. I think we should just push that off to the super coach side of things. Brad Snyder takes the reins at halfback, and Sorensen is out as well with a knee injury. So what happens there is you got Luke Garner going to the second row spot with Maverick Geyer moving on to the bench. So I think it's his first grade debut and he'll be off the bench. So
Mm.
good little pickup there for Maverick Geyer. I guess if you have still owned him for some reason, I don't know why you would have, but if you're just studying there because there's that cheapy sort of guy, you're finally going to get a couple of minutes out of him. But not a huge player at this stage, but definitely one to keep an eye on in the future things. But yeah, that's the Roosters versus the Penrith Panthers. Jesse, do you want the exciting South Sydney versus Canterbury Bulldogs side?
Oh, I always get fucking shafted with these team lists. So yeah, just going through. Jack Whiten's in there. I did see some doubt about that. Tass in the centres with Milne on the wing. Nothing exciting. Dean Hawkins keeps the halfback spot. I did hear a bunch of stuff about Latrell going to the centres. That other fullback that they've got darting around that's killing it at the moment was going to take his spot, but obviously not this week. Tom Burgess starts. I think Kepi's been dropped. Kalamatangi, Jacob Host, Murray in the forwards. So pretty much as it was, but with Burgess starting. The bench again, nothing too exciting happening. Cheekham, Duncan, Shakai Mitchell, and Mawali. So yeah, Sean Kepi's gone. I think a few people had him, so a bit irrelevant now. Over to the Dogs. Anything new happening for them? Not at all. Exactly as they were last week. So
Going
yeah,
off that
sticking
win.
sticking to the team that got them their first win. Can't really argue with it. They did play all right. mainly off, Jacob Carraz. But yeah, Drew Hutchison keeps his position. I was expecting a quiet game from him. Probably spells Sexton comes back, but he obviously did enough last week to keep that one going for him. But yeah, we'll see how they go, man. Obviously, the Rabbits haven't looked good. Dogs are. I wouldn't say they're on the up. They've got one win, but if there's ever
against
a
the
time
Titans,
to yeah, exactly. I feel like you can
against
pretty
the
much
bye.
you can run anyone out there, and it's basically a buy round win. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, the Rabbits are in their way. They're in all sorts at the moment. So see what can happen there. But
Us
anything screaming at
There's
you?
only one talking point here for the Rabbitohs, and it's about a player that haven't included once again, and it's actually doing my head in because Peter Mamouzelos was spoken about so highly in the offseason by South Sydney. They've re-signed him, I think, for 3 or 4 years. It was a huge extension considering he hasn't even touched first grade yet. Um, and again, we're not seeing him getting chosen. Havili has been chosen over him the last couple of games. Now it's Cheekham. Like, I'm sorry to say,
Yeah,
but if you're not going to be playing Damien Cook for 80 minutes, which they clearly don't plan to do, they don't want him to be playing 80 minutes. You've got to be putting this guy who you've got so many raps on the bench to start getting the taste of things, start coming on. He's a pretty nippy sort of hooker. He'll dart around and stuff, similar to Damien Cook, but he'll obviously be fresh at the time. You've got to get him to come on and do that sort of thing because if I'm the opposition, Michael Cheekham coming off the bench, you're laughing. He's not going to do anything. Like, I know a few years ago he had that magic moments where he was able to just everything he touched sort of turned to gold, but come on. He hasn't done anything for years now. And it just doesn't, it just, there's things in this South Sydney lineup that still I just look at and I just think, yuck, like you sort of said, like,
yeah,
it's just, yeah, it's just
yeah.
meh, but it is what it is, I guess. So
It's a bit unusual to be dropping Havili too, considering the last couple of weeks. Um,
he was starting, now he's gone.
yeah, I don't see why he's not there. He's 18th man, so it's just an unusual one. I just don't get it. Um, because obviously, like they bench Cook for him to start that game, and he did all right in the first game that he played. So just an unusual one to be putting him on, unless they just plan on leaving Cook out there for 80 minutes from now and not giving him that 20 minutes
Maybe.
off. Don't really
Maybe, and
see
then
it.
maybe does he become a sneaky option until South Sydney sort their shit out? I don't think I'll be going for many South Sydney players at the moment. So I need to
No,
see it
not
actually
particularly.
happen in on the TV screens. The, the Queensland Derby, there's actually two of those this weekend. So here's the first one: Brisbane Broncos versus the
Yeah.
North Queensland Cowboys, Suncorp, Friday night blockbuster star. So obviously Reece Walsh is out 4 to 6 weeks. You're obviously not keeping him if you've got him. I think you've got to say goodbye to
Yep.
Reece Walsh at the moment. Tristan Sailor moves into the fullback position. We've all seen how he was going in the preseason. He looked really, really good. For all reports, he's been pretty much killing it in reserve grade as well. So keen to see what he can do. Brandon Piacura is injured as well, so that's a tough one. A lot of people out there still own him, like myself, and to see he was injured with that ankle is not great news. Jaden Hunt does come in for his place. Adam Reynolds returns as well. And the big veteran winger, will he be playing wing? I doubt it. He's been named on the bench, Corey Oates. I think that, who knows, he might just be a backline cover. He might come on and play that second row role. He was always touted to do that. So you never know. But for the Cowboys, this is a huge test for the North Queensland Cowboys. They're finally versing, even though they've got no Reece Walsh, they've still got Adam Reynolds, Mam, etc. They've got enough players to cause some damage here. So we're going to have a real good view of where the Cowboys are after this game because, to be fair, they've had a pretty favourable run, in my opinion, to be 3-0. They haven't really been tested in. I think they were pretty average last week against the Dragons, especially early on. I think that wasn't a great start. And I think most other
Mm.
teams, if they got to that lead, they would have run away with that. That Raymond Fatala Mariner knock on over the line was crucial. They just ran away with it from there. But Laybat comes back into the side. Tom Chester makes his way out of the side to 18th man in the only change for the Cowboys. So that means your man, Jason Tamalolo, does start at prop. Obviously, you've traded him in. You're really keen to get his solid minutes and points scoring ability. But anything that really sticks out for you there for that Queensland derby?
Well, Adam Reynolds is back. That's huge for the Broncos. You know what? Tristan Sailor's a good plug at fullback too. He's a good little player too, and he's even for Supercoach, he's actually quite expensive because of the games that he played last season. So I priced him up quite high, but Definitely one to just watch. Like I wouldn't advise buying him in, but obviously, yeah, Reynolds is a massive inclusion considering they could have been without, you know, Walsh, Haas, still no Reynolds there. Would have been pretty much a walkover. And yeah, Jaden Hunt's in there too. So it's just a few changes for him, but I think obviously just getting Reynolds back will be huge. And then for the Cowboys, I was half expecting to see Ruben Cotter out for this one. Obviously, he rolled his ankle in that last game, and then they were saying 1 to 2 weeks. Obviously, it's been 1 week. Like it'll be 1 week by the time the game rolls around. So that could have been enough. Players not playing a game after a rolled ankle. Man, I used to roll my ankle every single day at school playing footy,
And just keep
and you just
going.
get up and you just have a blinder. And you're thinking these guys are out having surgery for 8 weeks after a rolled ankle. So obviously, it's a different
It
caliber.
is. With the sports science behind it as well, you kind of scratch your head sometimes. You're like, oh, really? Surely just keep going. Like they can
Yeah,
inject stuff. Like they can just put something in their ankle. They can numb it.
just
Off they
run it
go.
off.
Like, oh, as a Cotter owner, and I only got him in last week. When I heard that news, I was freaking. I was like, surely then to see him named
Yeah,
makes me feel good, but you never know. This day and age, there's always late
yeah,
bloody
could be.
exclusions and stuff. So
Could just mess us up. And yeah, Zach Laybutt's back in, so there's your price rise around for him. That'll be fun. Obviously Drinkwater turns it up last round too. So they're obviously the cars are flying, man. It'll be a big test for him. Honestly, probably a hard round to tip too. I don't know who gets this one, so good one to watch. Be keen for that. But no, that's
yep,
basically it with this one, man. Looks good.
you get it. You get another fun team to discuss in this one.
Alrighty, Dragons and Manly. So with the Dragons, we're seeing Jacob Little return. At the expense of Jesse Marsh, he's gone to the bench, and Connor Maleason's dropped out. So he's obviously favoured. Jesse's in there, so it's good to see. But yeah, Luciano Lewis starts. Jaden Sewer's back in. Tom Eisenhuth keeps in the lock spot. So yeah, it means DeBellin's on the bench. Harmy Selly comes in the interchange, and Fatala Mariner's on the bench there as well. So starting with Francis Molo, Blake Laurie's back into the team. So quite a reshuffle for the Dragons. Backline is as it was. Nothing's changing there. But yeah, it's a lot of changes actually looking at that. DeBellin to the bench is a big one.
And not all of it forced either. So it says to me
Yeah.
that Flanagan sort of saying that their forward pack really, and then it's really, which is a weird one because obviously they started so well last week. So
Mm.
you probably would have thought maybe not, but
Yeah.
hey,
Different. We'll see how they go. It could be a few late changes as well. Obviously, they did shuffle things around right before kickoff last week, so we'll just have to wait and see. Could be some mind games going on. For Manly, Vega keeps the wing spot, so it looks like Tommy Talau's still out with that injury. Didn't seem like it was much, but he's obviously kept the spot. Backline is as it was, and yeah, so is the forward. So no real changes for Manly there at all. Pretty much the same as last week.
you wouldn't
Yep.
change a team that just got beat by
No.
the 2024 premiers anyway. So obviously put in a really good performance, and according to them, they had tries that should have been tries. But anyway, keep whinging, Manly fans.
Hey, just pull that one back, eh?
Yeah,
Just pull
I'll
it
edit
back.
that one out. It's all good.
Shocker.
Gold Coast Titans versus the Dolphins, Saturday 7:30. So for the Titans, huge news. Obviously, Tino Fa'asuamaleaui is gone ACL. Feel for him. Heart and soul of that club at the moment, and they're just getting bashed pillar to post at the moment. So you just felt like he was needed to stick around, provide something for the Titans, and now that they've lost him for the year, it just sort of starts to ring some real alarm bells. I remember when the news came out, we were on Sportsbet, and I think it was at the time $6 or something to get the wooden spoon, and that was shot into like $3 something within about half an hour. It was ridiculous. So I think
Didn't
they've
take
gone
long.
even lower now as well. So or obviously gamble responsibly. I wish I got on at that $6 mark, but it's not looking great for the Titans. But in saying that, Kenan Palacia has been named to take his place at prop. So I know there was a few people at the start of the season had Palacia, thinks he's a decent option. Well, probably glad you've kept him for now because he'll probably at least get 2 stints. He's not that's setting the house on fire, but hopefully he gets to increase his minutes and he'll become a decent option for you. Especially in a round where there's so many injuries, you'll take that as a little win if you do own Palisade to sort of plug a hole for now. Big news: Jaden Campbell returns at the fullback as well. And David Fafita, keep an eye on final team list because he's been named at 18th man. Um, he hasn't been named at 18th man yet, basically. So I have a sneaky feeling we could see him coming off the bench in a little cameo. I don't think he'll get a huge minute role yet, but he might come on and provide 30, 40 minutes or something. We'll see what happens there, but keep an eye on that one.
Mm. Yeah. No, it'll be good to see Fafita back out there. They obviously need it now with no Tino. I did see the 650 drop to about $3.40 in an hour too, so I didn't pull the trigger. I just had a look and
No.
yeah, so it'll yeah, he's going to be well needed for that team now. I still don't think it'll be enough for him though. But as far as
Yeah.
the Supercoach side of things goes, it'd be nice to see Fafita get a run out there, maybe for 2-3 weeks and plummet in price, because that's probably
Yes.
what's going to happen for a little while. And straight onto that one.
Right. We
That'd be
know
pretty
what
good.
what happens when Fafita goes to that price, everyone gets on.
Yes,
Um,
that'd be the way.
the
But
Dolphins
yeah,
coming off a bye, obviously not much to talk about there. Raystone has come back into the side after sitting out round two with concussion. He replaces Jared Wallace on the bench, which is although Jared Wallace has actually been good, so that's a bit harsh on
mm,
Jared Wallace. I thought he was decent, but yeah, Raystone comes in there. Max Plus obviously done enough to stay in that lock position, so I know a couple of people out there have mentioned him here and there. Probably keeping an eye on him if he continues to plug that hole and play some decent minutes there. You never know with Max Plath, but that's it for the Dolphins. Obviously, coming off that massive win in round two.
yeah, no, the team's looking, or how it should anyway. But Max Plath is going to get himself a nice little dual position there for second row. Um, Couple little good changes. Obviously, I suppose we can get into the team list and stuff, but there's so many negative break evens for this side at the moment, and
Yeah,
a lot of good fixture runs too coming up for them. Like their draws looking quite healthy, so there's some eyes on a couple of these Dolphins players definitely. But it's pretty sour affair, I'd say, between the Titans and the Dolphins. I'm not one I'm going to be busting the house down to get the TV on for.
but again, you mentioned it. It's another hard one to tip because what Dolphins is going to turn up, and surely it comes to a game where the Titans just enough's enough, and they get the win on the board. Like it's been
Oh,
embarrassing, and if they got any hope and they got any heart, they'd have to be pulling it out. So
yep.
it's a tough one.
I think what are they like 60-4 now or something? So they're,
Yeah.
they're doing pretty bad. We'll get into the Warriors and the Knights. Massive. Tuivasa-Sheck is at fullback. That is
Ching
just
ching.
the best thing.
Cha-ching.
Oh, we spoke about this, preseason stuff. How long did it take? Round four. Great to see, obviously, at the expense of Todd Pickey, who's actually been really good with concussion. So I was half expecting him to be named as well, considering the turnaround. Definitely
Yeah.
not, because he's not even named in the squad. So looks like he'll be out of this one, and I would imagine that kind of spells the end of his little run, because it won't be far away before Nickel Cookstar's back. So
Round 5 apparently next week.
yeah, so it looks like that one's all over. It was a fun ride to be on. Besides that, Adam Pompey comes into the centres to take Tuivasa-Sheck's position. Metcalf and Johnson still kicking it as usual. Wade Egan again named. Likely to see him removed once the round starts for Lussick once again. So I don't know why they keep persisting with that one, but everything as it was last round.
It's not like
For them,
Lussick is this gun that they've got to hide,
yeah.
like, and surprise the opposition for, like, come on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. They're just it strikes fear into the opponent just seeing his name on the team sheet. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's just easier to go cut copy and then just sort it out the last day. For the Knights, no changes. I don't
yeah,
think anywhere at all, actually. Leah Thompson's out, sorry, so that means Saifidi's back in. Cogger keeps the position. Hastings obviously brained it in the reserves, so and so did Will Price. So yeah, there's some pressure happening from the other two. might be worth a spell. We'll have to see which one of the two makes way, but Cog has just found himself in that side, so I can't see him leaving anytime soon. Jaden Brayley on the bench again, so see how many weeks it takes for him to get that start. But yeah, Pierce Paul keeps his spot on the edge, and it's put Dylan Lucas out into the reserves too, so he hasn't even got his spot on the interchange anymore. So it looks like that could be the favoured position. Looks like Pierce Paul's kind of got that position locked down, I would say.
Yeah.
And good reason too. The guy's a beast. So it's just a shame. Like Dylan Lucas did nothing wrong um, to jag a spot. Brody Jones is on the interchange now. So yeah, would have been easier to just see Dylan Lucas keep that position. But yeah, don't know. Obviously,
I
seen
think Pierce
something in
Paul
Brody
has that
Jones.
sort of X factor on the edge, but for a super
Yeah,
coach point of view, actually, I'm not sold on Pierce Paul yet. I'm still happy just to sit by and just watch him go. And I don't think he's going to be getting huge price increases at the moment. So he's sort of just steadying and getting used to things. And well, I can definitely see that he's going to explode at some point. I'm just happy to ply my trade and see what happens there because I've still got a number of players in that high 400 mark that I can easily trade to when the time's right. So I'm just going to just sit for now and not move on Piers Paul.
yeah. No, he's 390k. Obviously, through his 345 last week, so he's had a bit of an increase. His break even is 3, so he's expected to go up quite a bit again. I'd imagine he probably goes up maybe 40, 50k, and all of a sudden he's a sideways trade for all these other guys. So
Yeah.
if you did want to get on him, it's kind of last week would have been the one, but it's kind of the week to do it, I would say, because all of his scores have been higher than what his current price is at. And a lot of last week was in base too. He scored 67. I think it was about 50 or 55 just in base points alone. So he's someone I'm interested in. He's obviously been traded in quite a lot. His ownership's it's gone up for almost 5,000 spots. So he's gone up quite a bit this round anyway. But obviously, Piakura is out. It's a very easy sideways trade if you just wanted to keep that one
Yeah.
running. But again, it is very sideways. I don't know how much more price he's got to increase on. He could very well just be like a mid 40s to 50 kind of average
Mm,
guy, but with the occasional big game, you know what I mean? It's
that's what
been
I mean.
nothing
I'm not rushing
too
out
out of
to get him.
control yet. Yeah, I feel like at the moment there's probably better options to be focusing attention on, unless you had no issues anywhere, and your biggest problem was Piakura, and I wish I could have your team.
Oh. Cronulla Sharks versus the Canberra Raiders. I don't even know what else to say there, so I'm just moving on because that's come on the wires. So for the Sharkies, huge issues for them in
Yeah,
and around the middle. So Dale Finucane's out, Royce Hunt is out, and Toby Rudolph is out. Talakai has actually moved to the back row, which does allow Kyle Iro. I can't roll my R, sorry guys. So that is the closest I'll get. Slots into the center. So Fitzy's obviously been listening to the podcast. We've been calling for this for probably 18 months now. So it's finally happened. So thank you, Fitzy. I know he's had his hand forced because of injuries and the suspension. In place to absolutely Nakora has obviously forced his hand, but coming into starting spot is Thomas Hazelton, who will start, which means Jack Williams will go to the bench. Tuku Hau Tapuha. I'm sorry again, guys. Very, very apologetic about the pronunciation. On the bench, and Daniel Atkins gets on the bench as well. Tell you what, there's just a whole lot happening at the Sharks at the moment. I have absolutely no interest in any of it.
yeah, that's a lot of forwards they're missing. Hey, it's going to put a lot of pressure on these players. Obviously, we weren't super sold on Nico Hines. He's been, to put it lightly, shit. He's been fucking rubbish.
I
Um,
want to get rid of him, and I can't.
I suppose he's
He's just
he's
going
the
to keep
winner by
losing money,
default.
man.
It's a true Bradbury moment for for Nico Hines. He's just come out as the guy to have all of a sudden because there's just no one left. Which is an insane, fall from grace for the highest scoring player for the last 2 years to just be laughed at as far as being an actual viable option. Not even to captain, even just to have in your side. I just hope he pulls his finger out because yeah, it's needed. But I just don't see how he's going to get. Um, he's just going to have an opportunity to do it. Like they've got Hazleton and Kafusi as starting props at the moment. They've have to shift their center. Obviously, been calling for it for ages to the edge just to fill a team out. And the bench is unrecognizable. So yeah, it's not good for the Sharks. And obviously the Raiders, they're notorious. They're going to slow the game down. They're going to put that pressure on. They're going to be grindy, and it's going to be an arm wrestle. And they're all forwards. They're going to dominate the middle. I don't think we see a very nice game coming up, to be honest with you. I think it's gonna be slow and it's gonna be nasty, and probably Raiders win this one. But
I was gonna say it's another hard one to tip as well. It's at Shark Park, so in a way you just think Sharkies turn up, but the way the Raiders have been playing so far this year, and to echo your sentiments there about the Raiders forward pack, Corey Horsburgh now has been available both the last 2 weeks and can't make his way into this side. And he played for the Maroons last year. Like that
yeah,
is telling you where this forward pack, how it is going, how highly they rate someone like Morgan Smithies as well. So it's huge. Zach Hoskins continues to stay on the bench. So if you got him, I think this might be the last week he'll get a little bit of a price rise coming off the bench, and then it's probably
yeah,
fall away. So you probably got one more week to enjoy that, and then just sort of unless a back row gets injured, probably look to offload him next week. But then apart from that, James Schiller will play. Seb Chris also joins the back line. So that means Albert Hopewadi and Nick Kotrich are both out of the side, drop out. So I think Albert Hopewadi actually read he got burnt
yeah.
on the weekend or something cooking. So
Cooking.
just like the way this week has gone
Yeah,
does not surprise me. Like I didn't normally I'd read that and I'd be shocked and I'd be surprised. I actually just read it and went, honestly, that's this week. That's
yeah,
just sums it up. There'll be next week. Tomorrow there'll be a story about a player went to the zoo. His arm's been bitten off by a lion or something. Like it's just going to be ridiculous. So
yeah. I
hate to
wouldn't put it
say it,
past
but
it.
and you know what?
Nico.
You've got you're got the last one here, and you've got a decent matchup.
Yeah, Eels and Tigers. Fucking, this is a blockbuster. This.
Easter
So I
Monday.
suppose Easter Monday, yeah, big changes for well, you know what? I was expecting bigger changes for the Eels considering the news that was coming out. So obviously Moses has broken his foot or he's got a fracture and you were there at the game. Did you notice anything happen to him?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed with that 15 or so minutes to go, he started to limp quite a bit, and I was thinking, "Oh, this isn't good." Get him off, and he just kept playing. Like that's the thing I think that's made this worse. He just kept going. Like obviously, it wouldn't have really mattered it's a fracture, but
Yeah.
yeah, good on him
Yeah.
for
So
keep marching on. He's underrated for his toughness in a way. Like I'll give him a bit of credit because he's been knocked around already this year. He's had his groin, obviously. He's had his foot now on the weekend. Like he continues to battle on and doesn't get a
mm,
lot of raps. I think a lot of people just have this stigma about Moses from years and years ago and just can't move on from it. But he has improved a lot in terms of that sort of toughness level.
yeah. No, it's a shame to see him after such a good game from him as well, you know.
I wanted to
I
go
was I
Heinz to
was
Moses.
I was straight. I was looking at the exact same. I even messaged you after the game. I was like, "Yep, Heinz to
Yeah.
Moses it is." And you did say that he was a bit ginger as well. So
Yeah.
yeah. So we're looking at what possibly 8+ weeks for Moses, which is going to really sting the Eels. But yeah, looking into it, Gutherson stays at fullback. Talks about him going into the halves. Blaze Talagi to 5'8", but Dylan Brown to the half. So um, potentially we might have two position updates here. Because as far as
How
Supercoach
good would
goes,
it be?
we have Talagi who's just a center, and we have Dylan Brown who's just a 5'8". But if Dylan Brown can snag himself a dual position halfback, holy moly.
Oh,
Yeah, that'll be
shut
good
the
fun.
gates. Shut
Yeah,
the gates.
that'll be very, very nice to see. So obviously probably want to keep him at 5'8", but at the moment with the amount of dog shit bouncing around in the halves and the talent at 5'8", might be worth having to just wait and see what happens come round 6.
A lot of
Um,
cheapies.
Yeah, there's a few. Probably won't be cheap by then, though. That's a problem. Joey Lussick keeps his spot in the 9 with Brendan Hands nowhere again, so lovely to see it for the super coach anyway. Bryce Cartwright, reportedly broke a rib he's still named. So it'll be interesting to see what happens come game time. Obviously, I think they're the last game of the week too. So if you do have
Yeah,
him, I would probably, just approach with a bit of caution. You can always go sideways over from Cartwright to Papali'i or someone if you were in that position for Supercoach, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. It was pretty black and white that he had done his ribs. So uh, Ryan Madison's kicking about on the bench. Could be a nice swap over for him. See Madison starting again, but I'll probably more than likely see Kelmer in the position more than likely. So
yeah,
yeah, who knows what happens there. And looking at the Tigers, I would be very surprised to see if they've changed anything from last week.
they haven't.
It was dominant. No, they haven't at all. So Fate Ape and Justin Olam again in the centres, doing it, doing good things. Lockie Galvin, man, what a player. He's very impressive. So Api Coruscant, I was wrong. Coruscant looks good and he's kicking. So yeah, and he's kept the
Hey,
boots, which is nice.
1 week. He wasn't good the week before. Let's
Yeah,
just.
he was.
Oh wait, yeah, sorry, no, he was.
He
You're
scored a
right.
try. He was rubbish in the preseason games.
Yeah,
Where it's due. This is the thing. Like I've had him for so long. Um, he could come out and score 30. Could score 100. Who knows? But he's got a really nice negative break even, and he's got a decent price still. So if anyone's jumping on the carousel move, man, this is it. It's the week to do it. So right before the price changes, nice to see a week extra. Papali'i scored himself a try, and I'll tell you what,
your boy.
I'm keen. I'm definitely keen. Obviously, probably wouldn't have scored too well without the try, but yeah, didn't need that for his break even. But yeah, no, they were a good looking side last week. You can't knock them. Um, Alex Twal's out, I believe. Doesn't look like he's yeah. So
Yeah,
Alex Twal's been
I think he's
ruled
got
out,
a
but
concussion.
yeah, Kapoa's on there. So all their guns are out in the park, mate. Look at them. Look at them go. It'll be
Oh,
a good game.
look at all their guns now. Look, there's a
No,
couple of things
we're
we can
just
start
seeing.
talking about.
Yeah,
Talking about in the Supercoach point of view, but like first of all, for Parramatta, like Blaze Slungy, for instance, great debut last week. Probably a lot of people getting excited about 5'8", closer in the action. Just hold off. I'd recommend at least one more week. Just see how it goes. See how the 5'8" position goes for him, and then go from that. So, pretty sure he only has centre wing at the moment.
yeah.
Maybe fullback as well because he is known as a fullback, but
No,
probably not
he's just
because
got
he's only played
just
centre
center.
wing. So just hold off for that one. I am very excited about Dylan Brown now being the main guy there. I still own him. There was obviously a lot of people I think maybe got off last week or so before maybe the price drop, etc. But I'm still happy to own him, and this news sort of is great for me. I just hope he still plays his sort of running game as well as organising thing. And the player I think really steps up for this because he always does whenever there's one of these playmakers is out, and it's Clint Gutherson. Now, I
Yeah,
know he's still probably a decent price, and it's probably hard to make that happen. But if you still say like a Ponga owner, or you're still a I don't know who else, maybe a Latrell who's still sort of not doing the best, or you don't know about South Sydney, but I don't know who you should trade to him for. And we might get in, I might have a few questions about this as we go through the episode, but Clint Gutherson is definitely someone at the moment I am watching. I'm happy with my current fullbacks of Teddy and Pappy, but yeah, Gutho without Moses for an 8-week
mm,
period. We know how what he does. He steps up, he organises those balls out to Siva or something on the wing, and yeah, I'm very very tempted to look at a Gutho
yeah.
fullback stint. So
Yeah, well, Gutho was about 800K to start the season, and obviously last year Dylan Brown was out for a big chunk of it, and you saw him step up massively. It was just
yeah,
basically him and Moses pulling the strings, and he was popping hundreds out for fun, man.
yeah,
It was really good. It was like as an owner for basically majority of the season that Gutho was relevant for. He was fucking killing it, man. It was nuts, and he's already had an 80K price drop. His break even's 136, but he's down at 728 at the moment. So another bad week, or even not a bad week, but just not up to par as far as his break even goes. Um, one or two more weeks of that, and he'll probably be 600 ish, give or take. Like after this round, he'll probably be somewhere in maybe the high 600s, give or take 680 or so, and then another one potentially balances out. Um, that's a really nice healthy price for a Clint Gutherson if he has
Yeah.
pretty much to the weight of the Eels on his back. So my fullbacks, sorry, are Ponga and Drinkwater. So Drinkwater, as I mentioned it last week, I had no intention to move him on, and I still don't. And he kind of rewarded back too with 105 games, so I was very happy with that. But I did keep Ponga. I didn't make that Teddy swap. I suppose regretfully now in hindsight, but
Mm.
he didn't do bad. It was a decent game out of Ponga at the very least. So still dropped in price. Not as bad as it could have been, but yeah. Look, I'm not closing the books on Ponga to Gutho, but I just have to see, like, if Gutho does step up, man, he's definitely got the ceiling for it in those big games. But even in the games that are tough, like those struggle and grindy games, you just see him put the effort in all the time. And their run's not bad. Like they got the Tigers, they got the Raiders, and then the Cowboys. So three
Yeah.
games that realistically, like they should win probably, two of them, and maybe push the Cowboys and see how they go for that one. But yeah, for sure, man. I'm glad you brought up him because I did literally have him on the screen as you mentioned that. It's a good one to watch.
For the Tigers as well, I know a lot of people are getting excited about the Tigers. How often have we seen him play the way they played on the weekend? Now, maybe it's a turning point. We don't know, but I just don't trust him yet. I'm not going to go all in on the Tigers. Lockie Galvin's the exception because obviously, as you stated, this is the week of price rises, and he's one player I think I'm just going to
Yeah,
make sure I get on to happen because he's looked fantastic. I think that's his position now. He'll keep that. So
yeah,
I'll enjoy that ride, that cash increase from Lockie Galvin. But yeah, I just want to keep watching because it's very rare to see the Tigers so dominant. Sharks were piss poor, but credit to the Tigers for making them play like that. But yeah, just I'm approaching it with a little bit of caution there with the Tigers.
yeah, yeah. It is the Tigers at the end of the day too. Obviously, they did put on a clinic to the Sharks, and yeah, admittedly, haven't seen the Sharks play that bad in so long, but I think we might see a few more performances like that from them. But I just don't know. Like, we didn't get much of a sample size for the Tigers so far. If they're going to keep doing what they're doing. But as far as their players go, like realistically, um, with the break evens from the massive scores they got from that game, a lot of them are going to go up in price. So whether or not it's
Mm.
going to be something you want to keep in for the long term, I think Garvin's probably a long hold. He's got a lot of money to make if he plays like he does. So averaging what 60 odd from two games. Yeah, he's going to be a good spot, and at 200k, like he just perfect. And last year it was Buller too, so same from the Tigers. Um, Api Coruscant's break even is like negative 24, I think, negative 22. So yeah, he's due to make about 70 or 80 odd k, depending on what he scores on average to his predicted. Um, there is a lot of moves happening for him at the moment. I've tabled one up, and I feel like if you don't do it now, you kind of miss the boat on him. But I've seen a lot of Levi to him, which is a decent
Yeah.
move. Obviously, it does cost a bit, but with the amount of players that we have out this week, you probably got a bit of coin to spend. So yeah, you could definitely do worse. But again, at the same time, like he's going to have the same amount of increase that like a Joey Lussick will have if they score a similar price, a similar set of points this week. So you know, if you're like you've got Harry Grant and Lussick on your
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
um, in that position, I probably wouldn't worry about it. Really,
I'm
I
I'm
don't see.
happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, you're happy not to have happy. So
Yeah.
yeah, no. So you've
I'm
got
even
Grant
happy to
to wait
play
that week.
Lussick this week. I think he'll play. I'll make this bold prediction right now. Lussick will outscore Appy this weekend.
Yeah, well, they're playing each other, so it's a
Yep.
pretty big one. So I've obviously got Lussick as my starting hooker. So in that, I was thinking it might be worth a shout to try and get Appy in the team, just because that would sort of solidify that position up, and I wouldn't just have, essentially two cashies. But Lussick's definitely a viable starter. But they play each other, so
Yep.
I don't really like that. Not in the same game. But
Short
yeah,
term thinking.
yeah, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to really do with this one yet. He's still very much a hot topic for a trade in. And
Talking about
then
the trades and
yeah,
stuff, you're right. There is that many options, and we will get into it and start to tackle our own. yours as well out there who have sent in some stuff. We've got even a team to show on the screen for the YouTube viewers. So that'd be great to see and bring them. Send more of this in as of next week. We'll hit them up. But just Jesse, is it able to quickly bring up just the most traded in and out for this week at all? The
Yeah,
stats for
yeah.
that. We'll run through those again.
I've actually just got it up now. So most traded out, I
Oh,
suppose not very surprising. Who do you think?
well, Cleary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it is. It's too much money to have sitting there, unfortunately. Even though they do have a buy coming up in a couple of weeks, it's still an out. Expecting at least 4 weeks, could be longer. Like you sort of have to move it. It's just too much money. Tino is
that's where I'm
second.
at with it.
Yeah,
I'm just quickly with the Cleary stuff. That's where I'm
yeah,
at. I just think, and the thing is, with a hamstring, we've seen it time and time again. It can play with a player throughout the year. Like he may be back 4 weeks, but I've also seen teams where they don't rush him back either. So they might say to us, "Yeah, oh yeah, it's 3 to 4 weeks. He'll be back. No worries." But we've seen before players where it's like, "Oh yeah, he's got 4 weeks. He'll be back in 6." Like there's no rush, especially this early on in the season. I don't think Penrith will take any risks at all. So I don't want to keep that on the bench. I can't keep 900 odd K on the bench and just hope that it's
yeah,
3 or 4 weeks and best case scenario because I'll be watching even those few games back, those first few weeks, I'll be sweating. I'll be thinking anytime he has a little hobble or something, oh crap, here we go. I can't do that. But the
yeah,
problem is at the moment, he's probably the next best option. Obviously, Moses is gone, so that's a hard one. And a few of the other options just aren't like as you said, if this was 5'8", you're cheering. At the moment, halfbacks become a pain in the ass.
yeah. It's always been the other way around too. There's never been too many good 5'8s in the game, but now there's a fair few of them.
Yeah.
But it's tricky as well because there's no option to go down to. Obviously, like if
That's
you've got the only way to save this situation is if you have Drew Hutchison. Honestly, um, he's the only way out to not have to worry about the kind of mess that you've got here. You know, you've got Luke Brooks who's got dual position. It's kind of the only one. But Nico Hines, obviously, it's an easy swap down to go from one to the other. I think we're probably going to see a fair bit of that happening. But again, he hasn't been very good, and I wouldn't want to trade in Nico Hines at this rate as well because of his break evens and just the Sharks in general. So um, yeah, it's a very hard spot to be in, isn't it? It's the next best option, I would say, form wise, and who's actually passed the eye test, Jerome Hughes. He's on a bye this week.
yeah.
So is it worth just holding holding Cleary this week and just waiting and picking up Jerome Hughes next week? Like I just
The thing
uh,
for me, I can't because I need the cash to make a few other moves this week. I need
yeah.
Cleary's cash.
Yeah, well, there's that too. Like, you just need to take advantage of it. There's so many fires to put out at the moment that, yeah, it's definitely handy to have that sort of, money.
Yeah.
But again, it's forced your hand in such a bad way. If you don't have a dual position, you do need to bring a half in for this round, and that pretty much is going to force your hand into a boost if you haven't done one already. So it's not great. But looking through the rest of them, Sean Johnson hasn't looked very fresh. Looks like he's still been playing injured. Break even 134. So you're getting him in knowing he's going to
Is
plummet.
he the is he the third most traded out?
Oh no, I was just looking at the halves.
Oh, the option. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, okay. I thought
Yeah,
you meant I
we'll
was
get
like,
into the
whoa,
rest. But nah.
that's
So
a luxury trade out.
yeah, nah, it's the last one left. So in the rest of the
Yeah.
top 10, Tino's number two. Obviously ACL. It's massive. Yeah. So got to get rid of him. Unfortunately, it's a sad one. Reese Walsh is
Luckily,
third.
the only lucky thing for
Broken face.
Supercoach is you actually didn't lose cash, so
Yeah. Yeah.
you're
So
okay
it's
there.
kind of just lucked out with that one. But the same thing with like when Greg Marzio got injured too. It was the week he didn't
Mm.
lose anything, so been able to get away with a couple of them. Even Cleary's injury too. Like he only lost 30K. Could have been much worse if he didn't have that big game.
Yeah.
Um, Reese Walsh, he's got a broken face. He's out. Tor Picky's the fourth out. Obviously we probably won't see him again. So you take his 50K price rise to the bank and you say thank you very much. So that's him done. Payne Haas is out, number 5. He's the 5th most traded, almost 5%. Harry Grant, number 6. It's a bit of an unusual one that, considering the luxury of it.
Ooh.
Um, it's probably a Harry Grant straight to Appy though, and it does make
Yeah.
sense. You can't knock it at all. Admittedly, Grant's break even is 82. It's a very attainable score for him. So I feel like, we're not going to see him really go below 700, I would say. Like, I don't think there's a world where we get like a 550, 600K Harry Grant this year and it's immediate jump on. I think he's still going to hover around that 700, and you can see why. Like, give it 2 weeks for Coruscant, and you can basically just swap over and free up a bit of cash for him. So yeah, it is a trade used, but it is money made, so not the worst. Piakura is number 7. Um, at the moment, we don't really know how long he's out for. I'm seeing a lot of stuff about 4 weeks. If it is 4 weeks, I'm happy to get rid of him. Again, his break even is quite low. It's 15. So if you do want to hold him for that month or so, he can make his money back that he has lost. But I feel like a 4 week hold for a 15K recovery, you can definitely reinvest it elsewhere. He hasn't even really been
Piss
that
poor.
exciting. Yeah, piss ball. You do get a bit of coin as well. You get about 15K, and you pretty much immediately make it all back. So, and you'll have a starter, which is nice in this situation at the moment. In this economy, we've got nothing. Mitch Moses is number 8. Just a damn shame. Danny Levi's ninth, and Jamin Salmon is in 10. So, um, pretty reasonable, I would say. There's obviously a lot of outs. Cleary, Tino,
Yeah.
Walsh, Haas, Moses. Like, it's been a massive week for injuries. It's just absurd that we have to deal with this and um, try and work around it in round 4. So it's not nice. For the most traded in, Lucky Galvin, almost 20,000 so far. Yeah, his ownership's gone very, very high. It's at 12% at the moment. So Appy Coruscant is number 2. Fanua Blake is
Oh,
3rd. So there's your Tino and Haas owners straight swapping him. Such a nice move to make,
smart.
honestly. Yeah,
Smart.
it's best way to do it. They're both going to be gone for a while, and obviously, you're not really going to lose much points wise getting Fanua Blake in your team. So Tedesco's number 4, traded in. Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking traded out. So traded in, he's still gone up number 4. So had an 88K increase. Um, Still break even of nothing. He's still due to make up, and he's probably going to hit a mil before we know it. So
Should have listened to me last week, boys and
yeah,
girls.
that's it. Teddy in. So nah, Teddy's in. He's got the Panthers this week. Could be a difficult game with a -8 break even. You take whatever score he gives you, because he's playing the Dogs and the Knights coming up after that. So it's looking pretty juicy.
Oh, put the
It's still
C on
not
him.
too late either. I just don't think it's too late to do it either, if you really wanted to. Um, he just looks so good. And if you do get off one of these high break even guys, you get Tedesco, you make all your money back you've just lost, and you can just swap them back over. So not the
Yeah.
worst. Luke Brooks is number 5. So 5% brought him in. Um, Obviously it's Moses, it's Cleary, it's everyone else. Trying to fix that one up. So yeah, fair enough. Dom Young is number 6 after his 150 point game. Um, Dom Young's got a break even of -15. So yeah, looks like he could be
Juicy.
either an absolute premium cash option or a season long keeper. Don't know yet, but either way, it's a very good move. Same as the Hammer in number 7 too. Hammer's break even is about 1. Um, he's playing the Titans this week, so very, very good looking matchup for him. Pierce Paul number 8, Blaze Talagi number 9, and Valentine Holmes number 10. So Pierce Paul's got money to make. Blaze Talagi again, he's not going to have any price increase until next round. Whether it's worth just
Wait.
jumping the gun, making that boost, or whatever happened now to make this money, and just trusting that he does well, or wait. Waiting's probably the smarter idea. And Val Holmes, big price increase, went up about 80K to 815, 38 break even. So he's obviously going to obliterate that and push 900K. So again, not too late.
Ah, I'm sorry, Val. I always
Too many
start with you
options.
every year, and I didn't this year. So,
Yeah.
I regret that one. But
Center wing's where
anyway,
it's at. But either way, man, it's like, okay, you boost. There's three players you can get in this week. Cleary's got to go. Means you have to get a halfback. So then you've got two others. Um, Lockie Galvin. I feel like if you don't have him, you kind of have to get him. I'm so glad I started with Lockie Galvin. Hey, I'm so glad. It's one of the only things I've gotten right so far. Um, so
it's fucking
there's
annoying.
your
But
there's your Brooks, there's your Galvin, and then what do you do? What's the last move? You know what I mean? Like, where do you go from
that's
there? There's so
and
many
that's the thing we're going
options.
to be talking about probably the next half an hour or so because we're going to get into the trade side of things, and I have a feeling that is going to come up a lot for ourselves as well. That's I know for me, that's my big question at the moment. I've got,
Uh,
and I'll start with my trades. Like I've already got 5 different trades written down. This is how much, like how many options I've got, and I've got no doubt after this episode. Once Bob nuts asleep, I'll go off and I'll do some more trade options, and there'll be about 10 at a minimum. And as you said, that literally is my biggest thing. I've got, for instance, I've gone Cleary to Brooks, Tua Picky to Galvin. So both of those straight away. That's the sort of what you're getting each
mhm.
most trades. And then I've gone the option is either Kepi to Aiden Fanua Blake, sort of luxury because I've got money there, and I just feel like Fanua Blake's is that sort of premium front row that I've always wanted to get into, but it might be a bit too early. And then I've
Yeah.
got Bostock, or I've got Bostock to Hemiso, which
No, you
is a
can't
little
do
bit
that.
sideways. It's a bit stupid, so I haven't gone for that one. Then I've got Gagai to Hammer. So that could be a lot better.
Yeah.
That's with the same two, obviously above. So that leaves me with 54K spare for next week to start looking at different things. And that's when probably if P. Cura is a 4 weeker, I'd probably look next week to get rid of him if things go smoothly. But I don't want to say that because nothing has been. So I feel like this is the week I'm going to get in one of those higher priced center wing options because they're starting to just make some cash. And I'm a bit worried that if you're not getting on him now, and I know Hammer's probably the cheapest out of the lot. Um, I even think Hammer, if I'm not getting on him now, it's going to be hard to get onto him price wise in a couple of weeks' time. He's just going to be outpriced, and I'll be buying someone for 850, 900 or something like a Val Holmes, and it's sort of like the only way is down, but they will get their
Yeah.
good points. But yeah, it's not. I don't think at that time of Supercoach at the moment where we're still trying to make some money with these players and not get them at top dollar. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much it, really. Obviously, like even still, like I feel like Val Holmes is probably that too bit expensive. Like he's just pushed himself
mm,
right up there. Um, you've got bigger things to look at the moment, I'd say, than spending 800K. Obviously, you're going to be getting primo points and you're going to be doing yourself wonders, but yeah, it's a bit much. I don't know yet. Um, like as far as the trades that I made last week go, I got in Mulatalo. Mulatalo was a 2 week play, and he's still got a lot of money to make, and it's going to push him over the 700s. Pretty like he's almost at 700 right now. Um, if I trade him out now, it gives me the money that I need to basically do everything, but I would be missing out on a big price increase out of him still.
mm.
Obviously, the thing is that's kind of turning me off Mulatalo now is obviously the shit happened with the rest of the team. I had no intention to try and look at him even as a ways out yet. But they play the Raiders and they have a bye, so it could be a big game. But again, he doesn't have Talakai inside him anymore. He's got Kyle Euro. So does that mean big things for Mulatalo more so? Does it mean he doesn't get the ball as much? Like I wouldn't have a fucking clue anymore what happens with runner like Mulatalo there. So
You got to.
um, hey,
I think you got to stick with your original plan for this one. I think with everything that's going, like with everything that's going on, I just feel like you keep Ronaldo for one more week.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I feel like he's going to have probably a blinder against the Raiders, regardless. Like he still managed to pull 56 points out of his ass against the Tigers in a game that they should have definitely done more with. So it was decent enough. Like he made a good amount of coin, and the whole purpose of getting him in was take advantage of that fixture. Hopefully, he can get some good points. Wasn't groundbreaking, and just make some money out of him. But Yeah, I'm not too sure where to go. Like Bostock at the moment, I'm very happy to play Bostock this week. Um, I'm gonna have
I
to,
looked at that.
and he has a break even of -24, so don't even think about getting rid of him. That's yeah, you're missing out on some big coin there
Yeah, I was just
doing that.
going through your options. So. I
Yeah,
knew straight away. As soon as I wrote that down, I didn't want to do it. So it just
yeah.
the only reason I was looking at it because it actually frees me up 164K for next week. So that
I'd
figure
get
was
rid of
juicy,
Burbo.
but
I'd try and trade out Burbo before I got rid of Bostock.
yeah, it was another one. So
Yeah. Um,
the way a
and
lot of
then
my trades work, I've got to sort of fiddle around. I've got to move Strange down to 5 center wing, and I've got to move Burbo up to second row, maybe in one of them. Like
yeah,
there's one play we haven't even spoken about yet, and we probably will in the trades, and that's Finiaki, who I think is a great buy this week, and I just can't do it. There's so much crap going on for me. I haven't been able to work out a way to get him in my side, so
yeah,
fill my head in. I'd actually
yeah.
like to go Piakura down to him in a way and free up a bit of cash there, but
Mm,
that's like a fourth. If I could boost, if maybe we can start doing two boosts. If you need a two booster, if you're going to use all six boosts
just
in the
let
1
us.
week, do it.
Just
Just
let
go
us
ahead and do it.
stack boosts. If we could stack boosts, man, I'd have nothing left
Oh.
already. I swear to God. Um, I also looked at Piakura. Depending on how the cash goes, I can go Piakura down and swap out my Viliami for feeder Nuff in my front row and get in Liam Henry and free up a bit of bit of cash there too, because it probably frees up about 130 odd, which is very handy at the moment. Um, I can go Torpiki up to Hammer, which was kind of the plan initially anyway. Cleary down to Brooks. I think that would probably be where my boost looks like doing. So 3 outs for 3 price rising ins basically. Um, and that's sort of where I've leaned mostly to this round, I'd say. But again, they're not ones that I want to be making. Like I didn't want to have to do what I'm doing. Ideally, I was thinking Levi in. I can always do that, but again, I have to sacrifice one or the other. Like, do I get Levi in or do I get Hammer in? Um, I feel like as far as I've got money making at hooker with Lussick to do other stuff with. I've got money making with Mulatalo too. I can get a massive price increase from Hammer, and I really don't want to miss the upside because I feel like he's probably got a higher ceiling than Coruscant does. Um, obviously, they both play at the moment. They're both playing 80. The difference is Coruscant's kicking. How much that means for the Tigers, I don't know. These are the things, hey, these are the struggles, but it's kind of what's been on my mind at the moment is which one do you miss? Because you got to have to miss one of them. What do you reckon? Like as far as priority goes, where would you sort of rank the order? Because there's a few of them that have been popping out. Obviously, you've got Coruscant number one. You got Galvin, who I feel like Galvin's a must do this week, just to free
Yeah.
up that extra bit of money. You got to do that. Dom Young, very appealing. Hammer's very appealing. If you're a luxury man, Tedesco. Again, I don't see too many issues at fullback to be trying to get Tedesco sorted, and then everyone else has the front row problems with Tino Haas and the like. So it's I think everyone's got issues this week.
They
I
do.
suppose priority, you kind of just
I've
have to
got
work out, yeah, what's
I've got
most
issues
important
on
to
and
your
off the
team.
field. So
Oh, go on.
um I reckon you know what, it's a big call. I actually think Galvin's number one. Like that's
Yeah,
how high I see this guy at the moment. Like bottom dollar, he's going to just I feel like he's just going to be
yeah,
soaring cash. Like I can't wait to jump on this. And that's the annoying thing because I want to get rid of Cleary this week, but I want Galvin. That's already two of my trades gone this week. That's why I'm going to use a boost to get someone else in. And that's the thing that's doing my heading because I don't have the dual to be able to make it work. It's just one trade. So that's doing my absolute fucking head in. It has done all afternoon. And it's just annoying for me because there's things I want to make happen, but I just need to somehow make it only one trade, and it's impossible for me to do. So, if I could somehow, and if people out there can do it, go Cleary down to Galvin, 100% do it. Like if you're a Brooks owner and you've got him plugging away at 5'8" or something, swap him over, put him up to halfback, put Galvin in, get rid of Cleary. obviously you're freeing up what 600 odd K, which is going to just be absolutely amazing. That's what I wish I could do, but I just can't. I haven't got the jewels, unfortunately, to do so. And yeah, so I've got Galvin at one. I'm still sticking to my guns about Coruscant. I know he's going to make money, but I just think the way I look at it, like, and you said before, Grant was one of the highest sort of sold, or obviously the most sold sort of hooker as well, and probably going to Coruscant. I don't like it. The way I
Mm,
look at it, Grant hasn't been playing really good at all. Like, he hasn't been doing much. The Storm haven't been doing much to help him just attacking that come out to play, where the Tigers brained it last weekend. That's the best we've seen them play in arguably years, apart from when they put 60 odd on the Cowboys last year. Um, so for me as a Green owner, I'm more than happy to keep him at the moment, because I know if this is the lowest I'm getting from Grant, I know the only thing he's going to get, as you said, he won't really decrease in cash much, because this is what I'm going to get most of the time. And the only way sort of up in terms of points and stuff. So I'd be, if I was a Grant owner out there, obviously I am, I'm keeping him. I'm not entertaining that trade one bit.
nah, yeah, I can see justification for it just with the amount of money um, he's about to make, and obviously Grant's on a buy. But again, it's a very unnecessary trade, especially this week um,
Mm.
with the
Like,
rest
you've
of the
been
stuff. But
very
if you have no
lucky,
issues,
you
yeah,
got away with everything. So,
yeah, yeah, and you
because
knew
if
too,
you've
like you
got,
knew that Grant was going to have a buy, so
if
just
you got
having him this
Lustig on
week.
your bench or something, just play him this week. Like, it's fine. You'll get through. He should get a 50, maybe 60. You never know. I reckon,
Mm,
against the Tigers, and that'll get you enough. Like, you're not going to lose spots or lose a head to head because of that move. Like, again,
no,
the Tigers are versus Parra this week, who have a much better middle, a much better team sort of overall than last week's team that the Tigers got to verse, and the Sharks didn't turn up, and at sort of at home, big arena, Combank Stadium, we know how good Parra are there. It's just, I know there's some money to be made on him, but I'd be more than happy, and I am doing it this week. I'm playing Lustig, and I'm more than comfortable to do that. So
mm,
I'd have Hema up there as well. I just think, as obviously with the price rise, and the Dolphins got a decent draw coming up. So I do like that for the Hema. He's very attacking, points based, but I'm happy to take that risk with him. And again, he's the other one. And as I said, I've got like, and me personally, I've still got Funuaki up there as one of the big trade-ins this week, but I just can't do it. Like, call me crazy, but I want to jump on that. I like what I've seen from him so far on that edge for the Cowboys, and they've still got a decent sort of draw coming up as well, and I want to take advantage of that. So it's just annoying. I don't think I'm going to be able to this week.
yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame there too. Like you just there's so many things, and obviously this is the round, and if you don't get it this round, then they're going to be priced out next round, and then you just have to look and see what's relevant for you at the time. But yeah, again with that Lussick thing, like I play Lussick every week at the moment. It hasn't been a problem for me yet, so he didn't do too much, but he did miss a try. I'm pretty sure he got quite close, or something happened, and yeah, so it could have been a big score. You're not looking at trading him, so it's definitely fine. It's just a week, and like the amount of money that Lussick's going to make this week to how much Coruscant will make, probably very similar. Um, so that's kind of where that is. I'm just doing some live trades at the moment, just having a
Of
squiz. So
course.
I've got Piakura, Torpeki, and Cleary out. Right, I've got Brooks in. Um, I basically have 1,059,000 for a front rower or a second rower and a center wing. Um, Do you reckon? Yeah, it lets me get Hammer comfortably, and it lets me kind of get. I can get Pierce Paul if I wanted to at this point. I can get Torpiki. Sorry, not Torpiki. I can get Finafiliaki. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to really be moving at the moment. Hey, like that's the thing. Like, where do you go? Which one do you pick? I said last week I wanted Hammer. I feel like just with the draw, it looks too good, but I
Stay
can
away from
afford.
him. It's all good.
Hey, stay away from him.
Stay away from him. It's all good.
I feel like Hammer's a pretty decent captain option this week.
Oh, well, then that's big. We haven't even got to that yet. We'll get to that right at the end, but
Truly, truly
That is
do.
actually a
Like,
hard one, to be honest. I actually had a look at that this afternoon, and I was thinking, "Oh, hang on. The, options aren't as great as I thought they'd look." Like, for me, in a way, Dylan Brown pokes sort of sta stands out to me, but last game, I don't know if I wanna
yeah.
ideally do that. So, it
What
could be a
about
loop
Roger?
could be a loop week.
Could be. Might be worth keeping one of these dead fucking players on the bench.
Yeah, it could be
Um,
a big loop.
what about Roger at fullback?
The V, put the V on him, put the C on Brown, and then if something happens, just
Not bad.
they've
I
got
feel like after this round too, I did want to say it before I mentioned it. I feel like having money in the bank is so important now.
mm,
I was quite happy to spend it all, and just keep chipping away and investing all of my money, quite heavily, everything that I had. But yeah, now I feel like with everything that's just been happening, it's probably just a good idea to keep a bit in the bank every week, um,
yeah.
and not just go to the top of the dollar list just because you can. Um, the amount of things that I wish I could do now if I still had Hutchison in my team, it's unbelievable. But yeah, it's just something to consider anyway. But I don't know. I'll be trying to work something out. I'm pretty happy with Brooks as it is. If he gets that, if Brown gets his dual half spot, then all of a sudden you've got Brooks and Brown as a couple of flexi duels. Like it's pretty nice to
Mm,
have, especially in such an ugly position. But again, we don't know how many games it takes to get that position change, or if he's even going to get it. It's just wishful thinking at the moment. But yeah. Did you want to? I think you said you had some trades that you wanted to go over?
yeah. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll get into some things because obviously I think we've probably answered a lot of questions already with that. But we'll get into some of the viewer questions that have come in for their trades, what they want us to talk about. First of all, and we did mention it earlier, we have had a team come through. So I'll bring that up on the screen now for the YouTube watchers. For the podcasters, we'll try and be as verbal as we can with this one and explain things that we can. I've tried to make it sort of as big as possible, but it has been a bit hard. I'm on my P's for computering still, so just getting by. So here it is. Put a question in there as well. So before I get into the team, here's my super coach team for tonight's show. We'll need to swap out Moses for another halfback. Only 2,000 in the bank currently. Is my team as bad as I think it is? Only my second year doing Supercoach. I'm still learning. So appreciate you, mate, for sending it in. I haven't included your name or anything on it. I wasn't too sure if you wanted that to be known, so I left it clear. But you know what? It's never too early to get into Supercoach and ask some questions. I think it's Jesse's only second year doing this as well, so
Yeah.
he's he's doing well for himself. So
Uh,
you know what, we don't know your overall score, but you're probably beating him at the moment. So you're beating a top 20 player from last year. Look, so we'll go into his starting side for this week if I'm looking at this correctly. So he's got Lussick at hooker. I've
yep.
actually never seen a team done this way, so I'm hoping I've got this right. Stefano and Thomas Flegler in the props. Hopgood, Ford, Cotter, back row. Tell you what, that's not bad.
Solid. Very
Moses,
solid.
yeah, Moses and Brooks in the half. So he does mention he does want to get rid of Moses. So we'll talk about it in a second. Dom Young, May, Russell, and Savage. Apart from Dom Young's 150 last week, that was a bit of a painful week for his backline. Gutho coming off a 40 last week. Jesus, pull your finger out, Gutho. Um, Gordy worked his ass off on the weekend as well. Do I see 40? That's unlucky.
Mm.
Um, I have a feeling he may be a para fan, this guy as well, because there's
Yeah,
a
I was just thinking
few
the
in
same thing. He's
here.
got a fair few of them.
Uh, so the Gutho play we've just spoken about earlier, so that might be good in the short term future. On the bench, you got Brendan Hands, Campbell Gillard, Hetherington. Oh, they're all. Hang on, yeah, is that right? Hetherington and then Lane? That's his
Yep.
bench.
Yep.
The top
Sam
four,
McIntyre,
and then there is
Fainu. Yeah.
McIntyre, Fainu, Caesar, Brown reserve.
Yep.
Surely that's actually no. Hang on, I think the little R's there. So Campbell. Has he got all para these
He's
reserves? I think he
basically
has,
got all
apart
para.
from Fainu.
Yeah.
So hang on. All right. Now, first thing I'll say to you, I'm a massive para fan as well, mate. I'm in your boat, but with Supercoach, you got to take your passion, your heart away from things. It's very hard to do at times. Um, you've got to start to separate yourself from some of these para guys. I think you got too many, and it's going to be a headache for you at some point. Now, Moses, I think we've already spoken about it. Like, he doesn't have Galvin at the moment, so I'd be moving Brooks up to probably halfback at the moment. Chuck in Galvin for Moses. You free yourself up 400 odd K already, 440K or something. Great money to play with. Then you can go another trade, maybe two if you want to. I don't know how many boosts you've already used, but you haven't used any. You'd probably be using one this week for sure. I'd probably be moving to look at maybe getting that back line, that center wings a bit stronger and putting a
Fullbacks.
couple of big dogs and maybe another fullback in as well. So,
Yeah.
what about
Yeah.
you, Jesse?
Yeah, I'd be thinking like the forward pack's solid, like Stefano and Flegler. Your second row, very good. You've
And he's
got
got Brown in
Brooks.
his reserves.
Yeah, well, he'd be playing Brown as his other 5'8". So he's gone Brooks and Brown as 5'8". Um, with Moses and Caesar as his halves. That's how it would line up. So, um, yeah, I'd be doing the same that Joel said. Obviously, Moses out, Brooks up, put Dylan Brown in, get Galvin. You could probably ditch Topiki now, I'd say, with some of that extra money. Get yourself. You've already got. I don't know who would you get at the moment in your fullback spot. That's going to go up. Obviously, Teddy, if you can get him, if you can afford Tedesco, probably jump on that.
Yeah.
Get yourself something solid at the very least. You know, like you can see the back line. Besides Dom Young, you made no points, but the forward kind of did pretty good job. So there's a lot of money held up in that bench in players that aren't really doing a great deal. Obviously, Campbell Gillard's quite dear. Brendan Hands isn't the cheapest, and he hasn't lost any money yet. So you probably want to get rid of him if you could. There's not many cash down options at the moment for him though, so don't really have anywhere to go from him. Sean Lane, McIntyre, like they'll do a pretty decent job. I would probably just look at maybe getting a fullback to fill Topiki's role, and then just doing that half shuffle around. Because
Yeah.
again, like you're in a decent spot at the moment. You don't really want to get on any halfbacks, and you've got Brooks
Yeah.
to shuffle up. So yeah, good thing you've got Dylan Brown at the moment too.
Yeah, it's
Probably the most
that's worked out
expensive,
nicely for him.
5'8" I've ever seen. Um, between the pair of them. So yeah, look, it's not as bad as you think it is. You definitely have enough going on to keep you running, especially all of your forwards being fit and firing and actually playing. It's just a couple of positions you have out, but you're probably doing better than me anyway. So don't worry about my opinion.
I appreciate you, mate, for sending that in. As I said, guys, if you do have some for next week, please send your team in. We'll do the same thing. We'll bring it up on the screen and go basically from there. So we'll get into some of the other questions of the trades. So got Billy Jack Thompson underscore deleting app. So he's already given up for the year. So there's a couple out there saying the same. Another one, Jonty Kupu underscore giving up. My whole team's injured. So he's one of those guys we were talking about earlier, unfortunately, who's just been smashed with pretty much everything. So it's unfortunate to see. I
Mm,
did have a couple of guys, shout out to you, who did send me through some lineups, but they were fantasy. And I did say to them, we are in fantasy, but we haven't really been specializing in it this year. It's just been so hard. We've found to juggle regular footy talk, super coach talk, and then trying to balance in fantasy because the point scoring system I've realized is quite different. And there's some players who you probably don't think about is relevant in super coach who are like massive guns in fantasy. So it's just really hard for us to sort of balance up. So I did apologize. We'll say it now. We haven't done enough really on fantasy. Probably won't do it all, to be honest, this year. It's just been too hard. We will look to maybe add some in or something and look into that next year. But yeah, I can't do too much. We're human. We've got some lives to live as well. And unfortunately, I can't do too much when it comes to fantasy. Jesse's a gun with it, but he's probably under the pump as well.
yeah,
Um,
I haven't looked at fantasy too much. Not since my draft leagues kind of ported over to Supercoach. had it all,
Yeah.
all one-stop shop. It's sort of just left on the wayside at the moment. But yeah, I've been playing fantasy for years, years and years and years.
Yeah.
Very different scoring system, especially classic fantasy. Difficult. Weekly price changes from round one, so
Yes.
you don't get 3 weeks to plan. You have to be on the ball, every single week. It's very difficult. I think the best I ever finished in fantasy classic was like 790 overall, and it was
Yeah. Far.
honestly, it was homework, man. Every week was homework. So yeah, it was tricky. If you're good at that one, man, you'll be good at anything.
Mark Coulson, I don't even want to talk about my team. Well, look, this is the thing. As I said, send through your teams. It might be for you in your bubble at the moment. Look, it looks like mission impossible. But once you have some other people to sort of give their thoughts, so don't give up. Send through your teams. It's very, very early. You can still turn things around. It's okay.
Mm.
Um, There's so many people. Another one. I would need to use entire seasons trades to fix my team with all these injuries. I tell you, there's a lot of people out there who's been so unlucky. Like that's why I think about it. I've actually been pretty lucky with mine. I've still got a decent sort of team. Sam Dot Wiggy, Ben for Daly. So I'm guessing Ben Hunt for Daly Cherry Evans, Garrick for Reese Walsh, and Jordan Ricky for Kepi.
Mm. I don't mind the first two. Um, I don't feel like the Jordan Ricky move is where I'd be going
Yeah.
from Kepi,
Think it's
considering
an
the
option.
price that you could. Yeah, you know what? At the moment, there probably isn't too many. Um, like Ben Hunt from Cherry Evans. Um, I'd imagine that Cherry Evans break even is just, yeah, it's really, really high. Again, you're going to lose a bit out of him. He just hasn't been that player at the moment. And Hunt seems to be just chipping away nice and easy. So his break even is 68. He'll score 68. So you're kind of laughing at 600. When it comes to Jordan Ricky, though, what's Jordan Ricky priced at? I think he'd be around the low 500, surely. 482. So we
No.
had a 15K drop. At 482. Yeah, he's got a 76 break even. I don't fancy it too much. He's got the Cowboys and they've got Melbourne. It's not the easiest. He hasn't really been super relevant in general, but in saying that, he'll probably score a try this week. So
But like with that one, free up some cash for yourself and just go down
go
to like
Pierce.
either
Yeah,
Piers Paul or
that's
go
where
to
I'd be going.
Finifenawaki or something like just
Yeah,
really
I
free up
feel
some
like
stuff and look for a big trade to make next week.
between the two, between like Pierce Paul and Finifawaki, obviously Pierce Paul has a much nicer base and he plays more minutes. Last week we saw Frizzell move around, and it was Pierce Paul that just stayed fit. So he's obviously about almost 100K cheaper. He plays longer. Position looks more settled. He's got a better base rate than Finifawaki does. His base is quite low. His obviously he scored that try, and it kind of pushed him up. But he scored a try and he scored 57 points for an edge forward that played 57 minutes. So he got a point a minute, but with a try. It's not the best. You know what I mean? Like the week before, very similar minutes. He scored 38. So that's basically what he would have scored without the try. So I think you kind of know what you're going to get from Finifawaki at the moment, especially at price 322. I do see more upside out of Pierce Paul, as a one for one. But like, you got Josh Kerr. He gets slept on a bit at the same time. Like he's obviously been coming off the bench. Negative 23 break even. He will be 400K before you know it. Um, Sam McIntyre's been pretty good. There's another one that's probably got a bit more upside than Finifawaki for a bit less. There's a couple there. Sean Lane at 450. I don't know if you have him already, but I'd probably look at that as well. I think you probably have another week to get Josh Curran too at the price
Mm.
of him. Yeah, he's 470. So there's still others that I would definitely look at before Ricky. So you're in a good spot. Like if you can afford Ricky, you can afford all of them. I guess just have a look at the fixtures and who looks pretty good. But yeah, I'd probably go maybe Curran, Sean Lane, potentially Josh Kerr, and Pierce Paul as something to consider. In myself anyway, what I would look at. But yeah, not bad moves though overall. You could make some stuff happen with that.
Basically, for mine, everyone you said there, Ricky's at the bottom of that list. So, um, I would not be trading for Ricky. In saying that, he'll probably come out and score 100 on the weekend.
Oh,
Sully's underscore ventures. These are all on Instagram first, guys. So I appreciate you all sending them through. I think this is a spelling mistake. He's gone car for Hoskins. I think that's a spelling mistake because I have done my head in thinking of who the hell is car in the NRL. There is no car in the NRL. So
how's it spelled?
CARR for Hoskins.
Car. CARR.
Is that
Kerr?
Carrigan? Maybe is that or
Oh,
maybe
it could be
Kerr? Like
Carrigan. Because KERR.
yeah,
Carrigan,
I don't
CARR. That
know.
makes the most sense. Yeah, Carrigan. If you have Carrigan, don't
But
get rid of him. I don't see the point in that. I probably wouldn't have started with
I
Carrigan, but
think I think he's mentioning that as a trade. Like he's going from Hosking to Carr
oh,
because the
to
next one he says
Carrigan.
yeah, because the next one he
Oh,
goes
okay.
Hines for Townsend, but might keep Hines. So that's obviously showing he has Hines and he wants to trade to
Yeah,
Townsend. So
yeah. I don't
I'm
mind
thinking
Carrigan.
I don't know. Well, actually,
676,
I don't know.
54
It
break
doesn't make
even,
sense now.
no
Actually,
halves.
no, it might be Carrigan for Hosking now, the way I'm reading it. Who knows? I'm confused with this one. Sullies, I appreciate it, brother, but you need to make this one a little bit easier, please. Send me through a message or something because you've
Whole name would
confused
be
the
good.
absolute shit out of me. So look, I've got to skip that one because it's confused me and it's no doubt confused the viewer listening or watching. Lyle underscore Elliot. Who is the best Supercoach half to pick up from Cleary? He already has Hines. Then there's been like a bit of a chat on this comment. Someone's mentioned Fogarty. Another one's mentioned Townsend being a decent option with a B of 21. Will keep making money. He keeps playing that good. So we've already had our say on Townsend, but you
Look,
never
this
know.
week things are a bit different. So when it comes to the halves, obviously everyone's going to be moving Cleary out. Unless you've got Hutcho to move up, you're moving Cleary out. And Luke Brooks seems like the one to get into. Obviously, he's got the dual position. They play St George this week, so it's going to be a nice little band aid picks up for now. He'll probably go up a bit more too. His break even's 36. So yeah, look, he's projected to be 84. I don't know. Manly don't usually do too much with the Dragons, but Brooks has had some good games against the Dragons in the past individually. So just have to see. But I would say Brooks is pretty much the one to go for. It's why he's been traded in by over 8,000 people at the moment as a straight swap. With some of the other ones too, like if you can't afford Brooks and you're just a bit off, I don't mind Sam Walker a week early, even with a price drop. Obviously, they play the Panthers this week, and he's just coming off that little bit of an injury too. His break even's 95, so I do expect him to drop some. But I do like the Roosters run, and when Sam Walker's in there, he seems to be doing bloody everything. So
Mm,
he's one to consider. Um, I don't mind Fogarty. We briefly sort of spoke about this one. As far as it goes in the past, like Fogarty's been quite reliable and quite consistent without being anything too exceptional. Last year he averaged 52. The year before he averaged 62, and then the year before that it was 58. So he's in the past he's done it. Like he's got a bit more range at the moment with Ethan Strange instead of Whiten next to him. He's got the kicks, so there's a good shout that if you just got Fogarty and he doesn't actually go anywhere in price, like he might not go up too
mm,
much, but he probably won't dip like the other guys will on you. He did have that 36 game last week. It wasn't anything special, but um, it's just one of those plays that you can just plug to fill a gap with. He's only 530. I feel like he's probably going to be doing what he's priced at. Um, Ben Hunt again. You're paying up. I'd probably just get Moses for a similar thing because of the Brooks. Sorry, because of the duel.
mm.
Um, yeah, I wish I could get Moses in at the moment. Obviously, he's dead. But Chad Townsend, fuck, after last week talking about how I would not even consider it. Um,
He
I
is.
hate to stoop so low. I hate to stoop so low, but I've looked at it. Break even of one. Like all he's got to do is walk out there and just roll over, and he's got his point, and he's got 36K at the minimum. Like I don't like it. Looking at Cleary to Townsend, never thought I'd see something like that, but As far as making coin goes, if you wanted to save a bit, yeah, he's obviously the one to look at. But again, like for that, I'd probably just look at Brooks. Find another
Oh,
100. I don't know. I don't know. It's so dirty. That's the thing. Like, there's no one good. Obviously, trading Cleary out, you have the option for everyone. Like, you can go to anyone you want. And you're talking about Townsend and Fogarty. And, like, these are the guys you got to deal with at the moment. Like, what happened to you, Sean Johnsons
even
and Terry Evans? Where are my
oh,
guys? It's horrible.
even Brooks. Like you said at the start of the season, you'd be looking to trade out Cleary to Luke Brooks. I would have dead set called you nuts. I would have said you are the craziest motherfucker, and credit to you. But no, no.
Yeah. Ben
Yeah,
Hunt
like
is a
there's so
viable
many.
option with Luke Brooks over Cleary and Hines. Like, fuck, it makes no
The other
sense.
thing I'll say about all these options is they're going to be very hot and cold as well. Like there could be a week where say Townsend gets you a 70, but then the next week he'll get you a 20. Like this is the
Yeah.
stuff you got to be prepared for now. Like we're going to get rid of Cleary, who generally speaking, majority of the time is very, very consistent with his points. We're going to now go to people. Even Brooks, Brooks has been so good, and I got to see him live for the first time on the weekend. He looks so dangerous. I'm more than confident having him in my team. If I do trade to him, I think he'll consistently have that sort of around that 60-point mark. So I'm happy with him. But again, I got to expect in a way, like he might get an 80-point game, but he might also be quiet one week. He might also get a 25 or a 15 or something. Like it's going to come with the territory of getting these guys in. Like as you said, Fogarty, he won't lose too much. He's probably in a way, he's probably the most consistent guy, and I've got him in all my draft teams, and I'm actually loving it because I wasn't high up in any of the drafts, so it worked out all right. I got him quite late. He has the goal kicking. He's mainly the main guy there because Strange is the young gun coming through. So he's a decent option. But again, like you can't expect them to be sort of up in this high Cleary ceiling because it's just impossible for him. So you're gonna have to ride some pains, you're gonna have to ride some lows. And the other thing is, when Cleary does come back, if it is 4 weeks' time and he looks to brain it straight away, I know Origin's around the corner, but you'll be mad to not want to get Cleary back in. Is
Yeah.
someone like Townsend going to make enough money to then be able to get Cleary whenever the time's right to do so? Like at the moment, to be honest, there's not many playmakers doing enough to suggest that gap because, as you said, Jesse, Cleary hasn't lost that much money because he actually had a really good game to keep his price sort of where it started. It's going to be quite hard when you throw that into it to get him in. It's almost going to be like if we get rid of Cleary now, you're not getting him back until after the Origin series is finished.
If I get rid of Cleary now, which is most likely going to happen, um, I will be walking Nico Hines to the front door myself, kicking him in the ass straight out of my side, and getting Cleary straight back in. It'll be a
As
very
soon
clean
as
swap. It'll be instantly. It's like Cleary's named again. The day that his hamstring's back in action and he's good to go, I'll be like, hey Nico, hey, here's the fucking door. See yourself out. Um, I'll be very
the way
comfortable
he's
to do
playing,
that.
but by then Nico's going to be 550. It's going to be almost hard to do.
Thank God they have a
The way
bye.
Nico's going.
Thank God they've got a bye next week. We don't have to worry about him shitting the bed again. So, that's the thing too. Like, obviously, at the moment, Cleary's not going to go anywhere in price. So I was thinking, might even be worth if I can justify my bench at the moment. I'll just fucking trade Hines now. I'll just
Mm,
see him out. Don't have to worry about a
that's sort
price
of
drop. I can sit on Cleary's 880 until the cows come home. I might even hold him until he's back. If I just get rid of Hines instead, at least I'm not losing money. But you're doing yourself
then
out of
the game he
such a
scores a
ceiling.
150.
Exactly, yeah, you'd be kicking yourself because you get in Brooks for Hines, and then Brooks does nothing, Hines turns it on, and all of a sudden, everything's reverse roles again, like it should be, and you don't have either of them, no Cleary or Hines, so, yeah, it's not worth it, but, yeah, it'll be one of those things, I think when Cleary does come back, I don't think I'll be running both of them at the same time, not anymore,
And
but
I think the answer to this long asked answer to this question is
yeah.
good luck. Good luck to whoever you choose because there's definitely a lot of options out there. And a lot have their good and a lot have their bad. So sometimes
Yeah.
may be good, sometimes may be shit. So see how it goes.
I feel like we didn't actually
LG,
answer a question. I think we just blurred the lines a little further.
because I don't think there's the thing is, and we've already
And
said it, it's so
we
hard to
can't.
answer. There's no one sticking out. Like the one that stuck out was Moses, and he's gone. Like it would have
Yeah.
been everywhere. It literally Moses would have been the most traded in player this week, I reckon, by some way. Like even though Galvin's there, just with what has happened with Cleary and Hines, everyone would have been trading at least one of those to Moses this week, I reckon.
Yeah.
So
I would have probably, if the buy wasn't on for the Storm, I probably would have brought Hughes in.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
we don't have that luxury this round. So, yeah, could do it next week, but you'd be sitting on him for now. Not ideal.
LJ underscore Newman's given us a couple. Walsh for Sailor question mark. Personally, I don't want to do that.
No.
Walsh to someone else that isn't in a Broncos uniform would be what I would be going for. So
Yeah, yeah, me too. You're banking off about 4 weeks for Walsh. I reckon maybe a little bit longer, considering his face looked all fucking battered. Um, for a Sailor price rise, but he's already priced up too. He's like mid 500s, so you'd have to get some good games out of him to get a price rise in general.
yeah,
And then you'd have to make sure he's actually there for the price rise to happen, and they don't shuffle around like Cobbo and put Oates in or something. Like there's so many things they can do. Um, that would just sort of catch you out. But yeah, for 800 that Walsh is, you just get Turbo or,
Walsh to
anyone
Teddy,
really.
I like.
Yeah, Walsh to Teddy, even more comfortable. You can do that and make some money out of it as well. So yeah, that's where you'd be going from him.
He's asked, "Do we get rid of Cleary?" We've already answered that question, so let's not get back into that one. Let's skip over
Unfortunately,
there.
yes.
Sully's underscore ventures has come back. He's come back with another question. So, is it worth going Hines to Lungy? Um, that's the Blaze
Blaze.
variety.
Yep.
How long's Moses out for? So Moses, it looks like it's 8 weeks. Not nothing. I think Parra did confirm 8 weeks, but you just never know with injuries these days. Um, it just depends if who's your other halfback with Hines. Like I would not be going Hines to Talangi at the moment. Like cash wise, absolutely ideal. And I get Hines is still losing some money, but you just don't know what's
Mm,
going to happen this week with Slungy. Like you've got one more week to literally just watch for free. Like the way I see it, Blaze is a really good young kid. He's got a great future ahead of him, but I don't think he's going to score enough points to be like the difference for your team this week. So he's not like a go in, get it done. Like he might score a 50 or something this week, or 40. You can get that probably elsewhere. You can get that in your team somewhere at the moment without making that trade. You just don't know. He might get injured. Touch wood, doesn't happen. Hines might kill it, as we've said this week. Without Cleary, it's funny how Supercoach works. It does seem to be the case at times where some of these guns, that one of them goes down, the other one just steps up, and it's like he puts Supercoach on his back and just rides us all into the sunset. So you never know. Hines, how good we all talked up Hines in the offseason. You're just thinking, surely there's a week where he just comes good. I don't know. But yeah,
look,
for me, I would not be doing it.
no, not yet. You make the point you can wait a week, so you're better off. May as well just do that. But yeah, like Hines had every right to be, the guy for this year, and they've had their own issues. You've got no forwards left. They've got $6 million worth of forwards in injury. So yeah, and he's just not looked good. Like this whole him and Trindle thing, I don't know. Well, it just hasn't looked good. He's looked elsewhere. So hopefully it's just, minor teething and he can just turn it back up when the team needs him to. So yeah, just ride it out.
The more we talk about this, the more I actually want to trade Hines out this week. I just don't see it going well at all. But anyway, underscore Barker Lucas. I think he's just mentioned his trades here. Walsh and Hands. If that's the two you're looking to trade out, perfect. Get it done. Let us know who you trade in for him. But Walsh, we've already spoken about Walsh, Turbo, Teddy, the like. If you can hold Walsh for 1 week, maybe even Pappy comes an option next week when he comes back. You don't know. I don't know what your team's looking like, so I don't know if you can afford to hold that extra fullback for a week if you're relying on those double fullback points or not.
Mm.
Next one, Ryan.Bell.44. Haas to AFB, tick. Edwards to Teddy.
Mm,
Oh, Ilias
yeah.
To Rocco Berry.
No.
I know Cleary. It's a weird way to look at this one because does Cleary hurt Edwards? I don't know. I think Edwards just does a lot of shit himself. Like he's just a worker. I think if
Yeah.
anything, like in a way, maybe like Gutho as well, it might help Edwards score maybe a little bit more. Like he's not a massive playmaking fullback, but I just think it will mean he'll just do even more on the field. Like he'll just be like, oh, I've got to be there, here, there, and everywhere type thing, and extra a few runs and stuff. So, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's one of those ones too where it's like, um,
Luxury.
it is very, very luxury. Like there is no need to do that at all. Obviously you're trying to just you're getting points, you know what I mean? Like we mentioned that the amount of points that Edwards would average at the end of the season is probably 70, and at the moment he's averaging 70. He's very safe for that 70, whether it's like a 50 and a 100 point here or there, or somewhere in the middle. Like he's very, very much nailed for it, and he's pretty good there. Break even 34. He's probably going to go up a smidge, nothing drastic. Obviously, Teddy's going to skyrocket. So, um, for that side of things, yeah, I don't mind it. But again, it is just a very luxury move. They play each other too. So, yeah, I don't
The
know.
other thing with
It's
and
subjective.
we
I don't
we
know
s-
what your
we
team
did
looks like, but
yeah, we spoke about Edwards in the offseason. I have a feeling this is Ryan's thoughts when he did get him as well. He's just going to be that consistent toiler for you. Now, granted, I think it was week 1 maybe or maybe week 2, he absolutely killed it and got like
yeah,
this massive score.
too.
So that was one of the nominal things that he was managing able to do. He's got himself to that top tier fullback. But you got
Yeah,
Edwards in your team for that exact reason. He's that guy. He's just going to plot away. He's going to get you, as Jesse just said, like that 65, 70, 75 sort of points. Nothing too spectacular, but you just know what you're going to get from him. Just keep him. It's too early to be trading that out when you don't need to. There's no injury there, especially in a week where there's so many injuries. Like your third one, you mentioned Ilias Tarocco Berry. You obviously made Jules and that to make that happen. Even Rocco Berry, like I don't mind Rocco. I've got
mm,
him in draft. He's been able to get me through some tough little spots for one of my. I think I've got him for one of my teams, but um, probably look to get someone else in. Like again, I don't know what your team's looking like. It's hard to do, but Ilias halfback. I'm guessing at the moment that's his Supercoach tag. First of all,
yeah,
I don't want to criticize you too much, but don't start with him. um, but
yeah.
yeah, it's tough one.
Just with that too, like by the time the Panthers have their bye in 2 weeks, Tedesco's probably going to be about 950, maybe more. Um, so for that reason, I don't hate it. Like I don't hate
Yeah.
the move at all by any means. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that definitely don't do it. I'm just saying it's bloody luxury. If you've
You're
got other
probably
issues
jealous
to
more than
do,
anything.
yeah, in a way, yeah. But like if that's the thing, like if Teddy to or Edwards to Teddy is like your biggest priority at the moment, genuinely, like if you have nothing else to sort out and you're happy with the rest of it and you've got cash getting made elsewhere, then like yeah, do it. Why wouldn't you?
Mm,
Obviously, Tedesco's got the upside. He's got the ceiling. He's got the break even for it. He's going to be going very, very expensive after this one. Considering they're only 50K apart, or were they even? No, they started at the same price, didn't they? Tedesco and Edwards
I
are
think
both
so.
just over 700 to
Pretty
start.
similar.
So yeah. Um, so you're paying up 80K to get even more. Like I don't mind it, man. Honestly, if you want to do it, do it. I didn't do it last week and missed out on 140 odd points. So yeah, you're not going to get that often out of Edwards. But I feel like this year you're going to see a lot more out of Teddy. So yeah, if you've got the coin for it, again, I probably wouldn't be going Rocco Berry in general, but you don't have many other options. But
Mhm.
yeah, not bad considering the buys coming up for the Panthers. So
Last one on the Instagram side of things, MBSGCG 2023, groovy name.
mm,
Two are picky for Galvin, Ethan Strange, and Denny. Oh, via Ethan Strange, sorry. So that he's
yeah,
obviously doing some jewels there.
yeah,
And Denny Levi to Coruscant.
yeah,
Not
do
bad
it,
at all. Don't
do
mind
it.
that at all. That's two very, very smart trades. So I am all for those ones. I'm just bringing up
Yep.
my Facebook page now, so nothing to add about that trade. That's just basically just go ahead and
No,
green light
that's
it.
yeah, that's a pretty common one this week. Levi to Appy and Topiki with Strange moving around. Like you've obviously got a bit of coin in the bank there, which is nice. But no, it's solid moves. Both going to make a mozza and probably get you some pretty good points too. Very, very good starters. And man, I was even seeing people like, campaigning to just have Galvin as their main 5'8" with Strange sitting in the background. At the
Yeah.
moment, obviously off 2 game sample, it's tricky to say, but like I don't mind that either. So yeah.
Facebook, Michael McLean, literally change Hines for anyone. If Hines is your biggest problem this week, I adore you. I'm so jealous. So do it. Yeah, we wish we could get rid of Hines at the moment because he's just
Who
going to keep
for though?
leaking cash. So
Like who
that's the
for? Who do you
problem. Who do you? We
thing
keep
is,
talking about it. Let's not get bogged into it.
nah, like okay, we'll just go back to this again because we got to reiterate like it's fucking massive to just be moving these guys on. Brooks scored 53 points last week, and you sing his praises that he's just the most informed, half 5'8" that we've got, and you got to get on it. Hines had a fucking dog shit game, the worst game I've ever seen him play in the last 4 years of pretty intently watching Nico Hines' game. He scored the same as Brooks.
Mm, it's true.
Like he scored the
It's
exact
just the
same
cash.
amount, and he did fuck. Oh, I can't believe he kicked the ball out on the full 3 times. He looked like he just he wasn't there. Like he was a space kidder. I couldn't believe it, and he still managed to score that amount of points. So as much as I don't like seeing what he's doing at the moment for how much he costs, that's the big thing. His price tag. Um, there is no better option at the moment than Nico Hines. Even still, last
Yeah.
week he
No,
was a passenger as well. Did dog shit. Scored 75 points. Outscored most halves in general. So yeah,
it's a good point.
it's
It is a very, very good point, especially at the moment when we're struggling. So
yeah. With no
Hines
Cleary
does
as
have
an
a bit of an
option.
appeal.
Yeah, with no Cleary as an option to swap over to if you had one or the other, um, you just keep him. You just keep
Oh,
him.
if
You
Cleary was in
need
the
that
ballpark,
player.
it's different.
Oh yeah, if you could go Cleary fit Cleary and didn't have him, I'd be jumping on that one to go Hines to Cleary every day of the week.
Yeah.
But at the moment, with no one that has such an upside ceiling to him, like you're not going to get the potential out of a Brooks or anyone even. No one is going to do what they
Mm.
can do on their day, what Hines and Cleary can do. So there's that. Unless it's for coin.
Mark Andrew, yeah, that's the only thing I feel like it might justify that selection is the coin factor. Mark Andrew, I've did message him after this one. Cleary and May to Brooks and Young. Now I did say to him, keep May starting, so keep him. He did reply back and said, "Yep, change my trade to Tool Picky to Young." Then, if he's able to do that and make that work, then
Oh yeah.
no, 100% do that one. So, um, he hasn't even used any. I'm just reading some that him and other blokes started having a conversation on the page. Wayne Walters. So he did send a bit of a message through, and I did want him to send the team through. He did miss it. I literally just seen the message pop up actually as we're recording this. I haven't had time. Sorry, Wayne, to upload your team to view it. I'll just go through your changes, and what I'll do is after the episode's finished, I'll send the team off to Jesse as well. We'll have a look at things, and we'll get back to you. But got Hines and Moses. We'll hold Moses this week. Need to get Appy in and ditch Lolo and Tupanua for Willison and KPP. Although that could change 5 times yet. So that is very much Supercoach this week. I like his thinking, as you said, like some of these players that are out, you don't have to straight away go boom, get rid of him. If there is
Yeah.
other things you need to do. So he sounds like he's pretty switched on when it comes to Supercoach side of things. So I don't mind what his logic is here, what he's doing. I'd love to, as I said after the episode, I'll have a look at his team and stuff and see what is happening there for other maybe spot fires to put out. But if that's all he's got to worry about and he's set on getting Appy in and stuff, and obviously, yeah, ditch Lolo, ditch Tupanua, I'm all for it. Willison is probably a quick fix, but if that's freeing you up a little bit of cash, lets you do some other stuff, then I can't
Mm,
really be opposed to it.
yeah. Um, Look, man, I'd be more than happy to get rid of Tupanua as well, but at the moment, he just seems to fucking survive another day. Like, I've had him on the block for 3 weeks, and I just can't seem to get rid of him. As far as, like, a Willison moves goes, like, obviously, he had his points per minute were insane, like, he did quite good.
Mm.
I don't think he's actually had a price change yet because of how many games he's played, so,
And
um,
this is weak.
yeah, this will be the week for him to do it. As far as the price changes go for front rowers that are making cash, like, Liam Henry looks really good. Will be one to consider as well, how with Fisher Harris out, but obviously Haas is out, so Willison will be making his coin that way. Um, the difference will be about 20K between the two of them. Willison break even of 0. They don't have a buy to worry about in a couple of weeks. It just depends if you're going to be starting them. I feel like after the injury cloud settles, you won't see Willison in the team anymore, where you will see Liam Henry consistently, probably for the rest of the season, just be being that one of those bench forward rotation guys. So um, for that, if you've got the extra 20, 30K, I'd probably do the Henry move instead of Willison, considering Henry also has a negative break even of like -7. Um,
Yeah.
insane base. He scored like
He should
55
have
points just
increased
in base.
minutes.
Increased minutes with Fisher Harris out, and then even after the cloud's gone and everyone's back and they're fully fit and firing, he will still be there. Where Willison potentially not. So that's what I would probably look to do
I
if you don't
I
have him.
agree.
Yeah.
Shane Gardner. This is an interesting one here. I'm glad I brought this one up. So, P. Cura, Tuapiki, and Ryan Pappenhausen for Lockie Galvin, Dom Young, and James Tedesco. Now, your top two, mate, can't fold it in the slightest. Your last one, hit the Uno reverse, please, because as good as Tedesco's going, Pappy's just possibly just as good, and he's a bit cheaper. He's going to be making money as well. Like, I know he's got
Yeah.
the buy. Like, I need to know who your other fullback is, but on face value, I'm not selling Pappenhausen at the moment. I am a Papio. I've got both of these guys in my team at the moment, and I'm so happy with what I've got at the moment. So,
Yeah.
no, I could. Yeah, whoever your other fullback is, I'd possibly look at trading them for Tedesco. But Pappy's almost the last guy I would trade for Tedesco at the moment.
Yeah. Look, 1,236 people don't agree with you. They've all traded Pappy out. So with a
Come at
-10
me.
break even, yeah, look, Pappy's not the guy to trade. Sorry. I know if you want Teddy in for this week for the points and everything, but like
Did you
Pappenhausen
say a
will get
thousand?
1,200. 1,200 trade
Are
outs.
you all drunk? What happens on a Tuesday night? Everyone just celebrates Team List Tuesday and they get on the
Happier.
terps. Like, he's got a -10 BE, looking better and better every week. Oh
I
my
know.
god, guys.
You know.
It's a buy. Calm down, guys. Just
Yeah, but like Tedesco has a -8 break even playing the Panthers. Um, next week they play the Dogs. I can understand it. You want to get him in before he's, you know, 900 and fucking whatever K. But Pappenhausen will get there. You know what I mean? Like he will get there comfortably. It'll take him probably another couple weeks longer than it's taken Tedesco to get there. But without a doubt, Pappenhausen will get to that price. Um,
yeah.
and it's going to be a fun ride to have Pappenhausen. So he comes back after this round. He plays the Broncos, and then he plays the Bulldogs himself. So you'll be wanting to get Tedesco in this week, and then in 2 weeks' time, you'll be wanting to get Tedesco out for Pappenhausen again, and you know, be flopping trades around, and you won't be. Oh, I just don't see worth it. Just hold Pappy. If you've got Pappenhausen, just hold him. If you've got another fullback who's a gun, like you can get Tedesco that way, but I still wouldn't advise just trading fullbacks. Fullback roulette's not a smart thing to do, but yeah.
It's a good point, like, to quickly raise, and I'm learning this more and more, especially this year, is sometimes when a player is on one of these streaks, like we're seeing for James Tedesco, for your team's purpose, it sucks, but it might be better long term to just miss out on that one guy that's currently on a run. Like, it sounds crazy to say, but like for this instance, I feel like you're going to screw yourself over longer term with Pappenhausen, as we're saying, who's going to do the exact sort of same thing. He might be a week behind in everything, but points wise, just because his buys this week. If his buy wasn't this week, I have no doubt in my mind Shane would not even be thinking of doing this trade. So
No chance.
it's just
No
you've
one
just
would.
got
He
to
would be.
sometimes just
Yeah.
just take a breath, just relax, and hit the Uno reverse, as I said. Cam Cook, with an E, so there's no relation there. Nathan Cleary, Burbo. So you did mention Burbo, and Tua Picky out for holy shit. This is juicy. Galvin, Val Holmes, Dom Young.
Lock it in.
um,
Fuck, how much have you got in the bank to
there's
do
nothing.
that?
He's hit the lottery. He must
He's
be.
basically, what's that? 1.3 mil in plays alone. 880, 315, 315, 6. Yeah, so about 1.4-ish. Val Holmes is already 800K, 640 odd for Dom Young. Fuck, you got some money in the bank already. Yeah, not bad.
It's done well.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
solid,
green
man.
light.
That's pretty solid. I'd be
That
happy
could
with
be
all
almost
three of them. It's
that could be
traded
almost
around
the
though.
trade of the night that we've seen. So,
Yeah.
last one, Anthony McElroy, the Hammer or Dom the Pom.
Oh man,
Um,
mate,
I
you
like
are
the
in my
Hammer.
brain at the moment. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's one of those things I've been looking at. For the same, like you can near about
My
afford
boy,
all of them.
I'm back.
The hammer's back, yeah.
My boy.
It's like with Dom Young, obviously he scored 150 points last week. It was just a masterclass. But the week before that, he scored a try as well and scored 50. So there'll be those games where he just goes on a blinder and, kills it. Again, for the Knights last year, in a very, very attacking side where he was pumping tries for fun, he didn't, the ceiling wasn't there for it. Like the try scoring kept his points up, definitely made him look really good. Without him, there was nothing. Similar position, I suppose, with the hammer. If he doesn't get those attacking stats, his score doesn't show up. He's a fullback though; it's different. But again, man, that first game they played, it was dirt. He was so bad, and he still managed to come away with like 70, 80 points. So um, I feel like just in general, you'll always back the fullback more, especially when the fullback's got a better run. Doesn't play the Panthers this week. Their break evens are both nothing, and their price is very similar. So yeah, you put them in the same boat as like I suppose for a bit dearer, you got like Zach Lomax, you've got Joey Manu, Jacob Carraz. Like they're all around the same sort of price, very similar kind of outputs. But like, which one do you like the most? Like I like
I
Carraz the
think
most, but
when you can get a fullback in that center wing position, I think
yeah,
it's gold. So
especially as a dual.
that
Like
always
obviously
will
you're not
win me
gonna,
over.
yeah, you're not gonna be playing him there, but a fullback at center wing is just so much better. Like you don't want a center or a winger if you can avoid it. If you can get a fullback, then you get a fullback. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, the Finns run looks too juicy, man. Like I wouldn't be missing out on the hammer this week. So that's
Last one for the night before we shut off. Basically, it's a question for you and I.
mhm.
Um, Captaincy for this week. We're obviously not going to lock anything in yet. We'll do that post Thursday morning. But who are we thinking at the moment? So as I said, it's a loophole sort of week. I feel like I'm going to be running with Dillbags. Will be my captain, and I think I'll be having a V on. Well, it depends on my trades. I might have a V on either the hammer or, as you mentioned, two of us Shek is a very big temptation at the moment. Oh, actually, sorry, no, I'm gonna have the V on Hines, I think, because the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, he has to produce something.
You would think
Nico,
so.
come on.
Yeah.
It's just so tough. They got no forward pack. against a massive pack who've been sensational to start the year. So I don't know. I'm not getting into another conversation, but yeah, who's you see? How you playing it?
As far as it goes at the moment, I have no idea who my captain is. I've captained Hines 2 weeks in a row. Last week was obviously not the week to do. I had Drinkwater there, 100 points. I had Cleary, 120 something. Like it just sucked. But the week before that, it was obviously my best player, 75 points. So I feel like the week I don't captain Hines, he goes big. So I'll probably be looking. I'll have to see, whereabouts things look and who can loop into what position if I have to. But I'll probably be doing one or the other with Hines, probably VC. And honestly, I've got Hammer in my team at the moment. I'm looking at a captain on Hammer. Genuinely,
Wow,
um,
that's
genuinely,
huge.
yeah.
Gets
Because
me
like
excited.
they just play the Titans, man. like
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. Like, I just if anyone can do it. Look,
might go to that game.
my other gun players anyway that I'd probably be looking at. Scott Drinkwater plays the Broncos. Queensland Derby, not too bad. I really like Drinkwater. I think his output's always been there. It has been there this season. He just hasn't been on the end of the points until last week, where he actually was, and it was nice to see. But again, doesn't really do too much against the Broncos. So um, I'm not too sure where to go with that one. I did look at Roger too. They're at home against Newcastle, and he's a fullback. So yeah, for a bit of nostalgia, bit of fun. Captain's going to be different this week, I think. I'm looking at a bloody RTS and Hammer VC, like it's something completely out of the loop. But yeah, look, the traditional captains haven't been working, so it's a kind of round where you can throw a captain on a center and they'll score you 140. But yeah, don't know yet, man. Genuinely, would not know. Not a bad shout for Dylan Brown too, playing in the halves against the Tigers. So
That's what I'm here for.
yeah,
Look,
don't know
guys,
yet.
that is it's been a huge episode. We knew it would be. Thank you if you have stayed with us the whole time. We really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe as well. Um, the best part about this week, I reckon, is that it's going to shake up a lot of teams, and we all whinge that we probably started the year with very much similar sort of teams. And I think after this week's trades and stuff, there's going to be a lot more differences between teams and the like. And I really like that side of it when it comes to Supercoach. And obviously, you got the likes of like Galvin, for instance, who's a cash cow that everyone's going to have. But I feel like this week, in terms of starting, just with so many injuries and stuff as well, we're going to have a big mixed bag of teams up against each other, which is really, really cool to see. And I think what Supercoach should be all about. So, but that's us. Again, no idea what we're going to lock in. So make sure you keep tuning into the social media side of things. See that post on either Instagram or Facebook on the Thursday morning to see what we lock in. But until then, thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Keep your questions coming in. We'll get back to them throughout the next couple of days when we're trying to go through our teams as well. But good luck. Let's see if the champion myself, I can call myself the champ at the moment. It feels weird. Do I keep just going up that highway and just keep going up that mountain very
Just keep
quickly,
going.
or does Jesse start to rein me in? We will find out. I'm very, very nervous about this weekend. But thanks, guys. Enjoy the next couple of days, and we will be chatting to you, no doubt, shortly.